Welcome back to another edition of Ball Don't Lie right here on 104.9 The Horn. Oh, we got a damn good show playing for you. Of course, one of my favorite musically themed days of the week, Top of the Charts Tuesday. We'll get to that coming up a little bit later on the show. Trevon Diggs. He got the bag. The straight cash homie. Signed a new deal. We'll get into that. Saquon Barkley signed the deal. I don't know if he got the bag, but he did get some cash. We'll get into that, too, coming up a little bit later on in the show. Matter of fact, we'll start off with some NFL news, notes, and nuggets. NFL teams, I think almost all of them, 27 of them, reported today. So, yes, football season is upon us, ladies and gentlemen. Also, since, this is our swan song, we got to get into our NFL predictions. So might as well do it sooner rather than later. That way we can talk about it.
Let's do it.
Yeah, so we'll do that.
Yeah.
NFL predictions. We'll give you our division winners. We'll give you our playoff teams. We'll give you the conference championship and our Super Bowl contenders. We're going to do all of that today and have some fun with it. Also, we'll get into the unfortunate news about Bronny James. But then good news because it turns out he's stable and everything's okay. Also, Dylan Campbell, speaking of good news, great news. Well, I think it's great news, but some of y'all out there might be a little salty, so we'll get into that too. Astros, go Astros, with a win over the Rangers. That was dramatic. We'll dive into that. And Quinn Ewers predicted to be one of the top passers in college football. And speaking of college football, Jim Harbaugh. Turns out Jim Harbaugh, some shady dealings might be out for the first 4 games of the season for Michigan because of a suspension. We'll talk about that too. Arch Manning with his first trading card and big-time NIL deal. We'll discuss that. Seems like we got tons to discuss that and more. Before we do, let's introduce you to the rest of the crew. He was a second-round pick for the Montreal Expos, but a first-round pick for the Austin Radio Network. He originally committed to the University of Texas, but decided to forego the 40 acres to chase his dream in the cheese. Pippin ain't easy, but for him, it's a breeze. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Mike Hardball Harge. What's going on, brother?
What it do? We are in the place. There's so much to get into. Prayers up for Bronny James. We know that that's a very, very scary situation, especially for a young man to go through that, for any person to go through that. So all prayers up for him.
No question.
Cowboys making major moves, and I'm excited about it. We got a chance to talk to our man Clarence Chill Hill yesterday.
Oh, man, day too soon.
A day too soon. And I was like, man, as soon as that broke, I wanted to call him back and see if he had time today. But there was so much to get into, and I'm excited about it. I'm more interested in the fact of Jim Harbaugh. One of the things we will talk about today in the Hard Knocks Life, we talked about that strange injury that happened yesterday with Nyheim Hines. Well, I've got a book. A man wrote a book about some of the strangest injuries that have happened in Major League Baseball. It is very entertaining, and I want to share some of that with you because a lot of people got a lot of issues.
Yeah, that's right. Man.
But let me talk about my man that sits across from me every single day. He hails from H-Town with the Get Down. He's a lifetime Longhorn and a proud card-carrying member of DBU. Legendary lifetime and now College Football Hall of Fame Longhorn, Derek Johnson, said he was the best cover corner he had ever seen. He's a former NFL DB that still has that passion for film study, but he's not a fan of white condiments. But, of course, he is a fan of you, the listeners. He is my man and yours, Rod Babels.
I appreciate that intro, as always. Let's not waste any time introducing the real MVP, one of the hardest-working members of the ARN family. He's got a hustle spirit, period. We're not sure what he's paid, but we're pretty damn sure he's underpaid. It's Patrick Davis, y'all. What's going on, Patrick?
Oh, just still enjoying, watching some good baseball last night.
Ooh, well, it's good because the Astros found a way to win.
Yeah, man.
You'd have to be singing a different tune if they had found a way to win.
Terrible game, but no, it was a great game.
You're right. No, it is. Everybody was like, oh, yeah, that was a great Super Bowl. And everybody in Philly's like, man, that Super Bowl sucked. That was terrible. Yeah. It's always.
The grass was wrong.
Yeah, exactly. Talking about the grass, everybody's like, man, that was a really fun Super Bowl to watch. It all depends on your perspective. We invited on the Specs text line, 512-337-3776. You're the listener, so you're the heart and soul of this thing, the heartbeat of it. You can also hit us up via Twitter. Harge is at Hardball Harge in the Twitterverse. My man Patrick Davis at It's Patrick Davis in the Twitterverse. And I'm at Rod Babers in the Twitterverse. You can hit us up there. All right, gentlemen. Let's start with, there's a lot of news to get to.
There's so much.
We'll do our best to try to cover it all. It's, they say this is supposed to be like the dry season for sports. I don't know what the hell y'all talking about. There's tons to talk about, tons to get into. And by the way, we'll get into it. There's some other sports items out there that I did not address in the opening that we'll get to too. So we'll try to do our best. First, and this news dropped probably less than an hour ago. Cowboys agreed. to terms with Trevon Diggs on a brand new deal, 5-year, $97 million extension.
Run me my money.
For Trevon Diggs, and the deal includes a $21.2 million signing bonus. And with incentives, I think it's total worth about $104 million total with incentives if he meet all those. And by the way, he's an incentive guy because he gets a lot of picks.
Yeah, you know.
They probably made those incentives a little bit unrealistic for him. honestly, why you have to?
Right.
I mean, with that dude, he's like, no, he gonna hit them incentives, especially when it comes to interceptions. So it's $19.4 million per year average in new money slots. Diggs is the 5th highest paid corner in the NFL right now. If you're just looking at that overall.
Yeah. And that is something that we were waiting to see.
We knew
what was going to happen because we've been talking about it for quite some time. As these deals start to take place, most of them end up happening right before training camp. Guys that are already on the contract. Goes back to our point of what we were talking about yesterday, Rob, where you're talking about the running back position. You need to start negotiating after that first or second year. Trevon Diggs has put up numbers, and they knew if they let him get to that market, it was going to be ridiculous for him, and the Cowboys were going to have to come up off of a lot of money. Running back position is still something that we talked about, but for right now, we already said you got to be able to cover, you got to be able to stop, you got to be able to do a little bit more for you to get paid, and he is one of those positions that definitely are going to get paid.
What I love about Trevon Diggs, and obviously I'm in a bit of a fanboy right now just because I'm a defensive back by trade. There's a term that's thrown out there about a player being a ball hawk. He's a ball hawk. He's a ball hawk. And I think it's thrown out there way too loosely. This guy is the best ball hawk in the NFL right now.
Former wide receiver.
There, exactly. And with that being said, like the best ball hawk that I ever played with was Dathan Vasher. Nasty Nate. He's still in the record books, holds the record, tied for the most interceptions.
A little mad about it because he should be above it.
He should. He should. I love me some Noble Doss. God bless him. But Nasty Nate should hold that record because there's never been a better ball hawk in the history of Texas football and DBU history. And I'm talking about all the greats. Even Huff Daddy Huff Daddy will probably tell you, no, Nasty Nate because he played with Nasty Nate. And this is the key to being a great ball hawk. There's a mindset and a skill set. All right. You got to have a certain mindset and you got to have a certain skill set. And like I said, the guy who taught it to me was Nasty Nate. I couldn't learn it because I don't have that. You guys know, I got hands like feet, right? So, I got to. I'm like top 5 all time in PBUs at Texas. And I could be in an interception list if I had better hands.
Know your strengths and your weaknesses, right? I can get there. I'm gonna lock you down.
There are some PBUs where you celebrate, right? You knocked it down. You celebrate, you flex on them.
Yeah.
And there are the PBUs where you basically are disappointing yourself and your hands on your head and you're shaking your head
because you knew you could have took it to the house.
Because that's not a PBU. That was an interception you dropped. There are differences. A PBU and a dropped interception. If you did Rob B's PBU/dropped interception
ratio
and took those away from my PBU record, I would not be top 5. I'd be that way down in the totem pole because there's so many games I can tell you. Robbie's like, oh man, why did I drop that one? But anyway, getting to the point, the mindset is simple, and Nasty Nate taught it to me well. He also applied this when he went out on 6th Street sometimes.
Yeah, he did. He did.
If the ball's in the air, it's mine. I have as much legal right to the football as the wide receiver, which is true, actually. The rule book,
the technicality of the rule.
Just because it's thrown to the wide receiver doesn't mean that he has a right to it. Actually, once the ball leaves the quarterback hands, you got as much a right to the football as anybody.
It's equal opportunity at that point.
He believed it was his.
Yeah.
He believes everybody doesn't have that mindset. I'm covering. I'm too busy trying to cover a guy. That dude, when the ball was out, he was like, all right, if it's thrown in my direction,
I'm at it.
That's my ball.
Yep.
Right. I didn't have that mindset. Nasty Nate had that mindset, and I think ball hawks have that mindset. The skill set is, now you can have that mindset all you want. I tried to have that mindset.
Deep down, I really was that guy.
Yeah, but if you don't have the skill set to be able to actually take advantage of those opportunities. So you got to have the mindset to believe the ball is yours and you have as much a right to the football as anybody else, but then have the skill to actually take the football away or to actually go after the football and take advantage of that opportunity.
Right.
And Nasty Nate had that that gene. There are a lot of guys who have that gene. I don't think I obviously didn't have that gene. But my point is, Trevon Diggs, he's the best ball hawk in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
Not even, honestly, it's not that close.
It's really not. He's that
They're
skillful at what
corners,
he's done.
But yeah, in terms of taking the ball away, no.
He has 17 picks in his first 3 seasons, which is second most in the Dallas Cowboys history.
Yeah.
And he continues to make plays. Mm-hmm. And every time, people are sitting there, a ball hawk that consistently get burned. That's because he's aggressive. You act like everybody's got to play the technique and do things the perfect way. It never happens like that. And a ball hawk is somebody that is aggressive enough to think that he read it perfectly to go and get the ball. Now, do we want him to give up that many yards? It's a risk reward, right? Your position is a risk reward. You want to do things the right way. You can have the perfect coverage. Ball goes up, dude mosses you. It just happens that way. You were there. But some guys can go up there and make that play to make it a turnover. There's some guys that'll jump a route and probably shouldn't jump the route, and that's what we've seen from Trayvon. But I guarantee you, obviously the Cowboys see everything in him that they like. That's why they gave him the money. And there are teams in the NFL that will go and pay money for a top-flight cornerback. We just saw it with Jalen Ramsey. How does Jalen Ramsey go from team to team? It's because the dude can cover. And he goes and makes plays. So I'm with you on that. There's a lot of risk reward that is involved in that. But my man he's one of those guys that every time he's on the field, if he gets it, he's trying to take it to the house too.
He is, actually. Yeah, you're right about that. Because he's got that offensive mindset.
That's right. He gets you points.
And I understand he does get beat. Trust me, I've watched film on. He does get beat. He got beat less last season than he did in 2021.
Yep.
Yes, I think he is adjusting this game because his 2021 he was kind of a high risk, high reward player, and most of the time when he's getting beat, it's on double moves. Or this is why he has a low Pro Football Focus grade. Or he sees something and he decides to actually act on it. Mm-hmm. And he will violate the rules of coverage. And I'm with you. That's why it's Pro Football Focus grades low. Pro Football Focus is grading whether you are taking care of your responsibility, doing your job, right, as a player. And sometimes I've seen him actually in a kind of in a quarters coverage, essentially, in quarters coverage, or when he's supposed to be the half defender,
right?
All right, on a coverage, he'll just decide, no. I see them running a 6 route, which is a deep end. I'm gonna jump it because I know the quarterback's gonna throw it.
Right.
And he'll get the interception, but he violated the rule of coverage. He was supposed to be the deep defender. Mm-hmm. That wasn't even his guy.
That wasn't your responsibility.
He does that. He did it more in 2021. I don't know if he's doing it as much.
He didn't do it as much in
2022.
No.
But he did that a lot in 2021, which is why you get picks. Think about your quarterback. He knows what the coverages are.
Yep.
So he's thinking, all right, this route combination, this is a cover 4 beater, or this is a cover 3 beater. We definitely got him on this one. So he's like, all right, I'm letting loose. And as soon as he lets loose, he's like, that guy's supposed to be there. What the hell are you doing there? Because he's a habitual line stepper and violator of the coverages. And he would do it all the time. And I get Dan Quinn was like, dude, I can't. What am I going to say? When he's actually getting interceptions, do I come yell at him? Yep. Like, dude, you got an interception, but you need to be back in your third. Don't you jump that route and get an interception and make a play. You don't yell at him. You just let it go. You're like, I don't
Coach,
know.
I thought I saw something
I don't know what they talk about in film.
I recognized something on film that I've been watching, and I knew that if he had his foot turned the wrong way, I'm jumping that.
Okay. Cool. That's why Pro Football Focus like, man, his grade is low. It's like, yeah. Grade low because he's a violator of the coverage, but a playmaker. Right. Now, think about this, too. Also, because I got a little man crush on Trevon Diggs. People don't realize how long he's been playing cornerback. Guys, he's only been playing cornerback for 6 years.
Yeah.
That's it. Like, to my full time. When he was in high school, he was playing everything. He was playing safety and cornerback and wide receiver and everything. Yep. And when he first got to Bama, his first year at Bama, he was also playing safety and kick return and wide receiver and cornerback, playing all these different positions. And then they switched him full-time to cornerback his sophomore year, which, by the way, he lost his job because the guy behind him took him over because he was a habitual line stepper, violating the rules of coverage. And Nick Saban was like, what the hell do you think you're doing out there, man? You need to go on the bench. Yep. You don't even know how to play the basic rules. You are violating the structure, the rules of integrity of our defense, right?
And don't forget, Nick Saban was a DB.
And Nick Saban's a DB, right? So it's especially annoying to him when he sees you got the skill to play it, but you don't respect the structural integrity of the defense. So he got surpassed that year, and then his junior year, also starting, got hurt. He got hurt, so he didn't play the full season. His first full season was his senior year at Alabama, playing cornerback full time, and he was great. Got drafted in the second round, and then that's basically 4 years out of the 6 years he's been playing cornerback full time where he's actually played a full season.
Right.
And he's only gotten better every year he plays a full season.
And he's going to continue to get better because now he's working with a guy like Stephon Gilmore.
Yeah.
He's working with Dan Quinn, who is keeping him on track to what he's doing. And now he just got the bag. So now he knows that he is the one that everybody's looking at now. He is the one that you said it the other day, Rod, where you're like, ooh, now I don't have to throw on Trayvon Diggs' side. So when the Cowboys last year, they were picking on everybody else. Why do you think DeRon Bland got so many interceptions?
Damn right.
Because they weren't throwing towards Trayvon Diggs.
Nope.
Now you're bringing in a guy like Stephon Gilmore, who is ready to continue his greatness, and now y'all putting him on each side? Good luck.
No, and that's, I think,
Good
getting
luck.
Gilmore is going to be a help as well because it means you can move safeties around a little bit differently. And you go, hey, man, we can have someone a little bit deeper over on this side now because we don't have to have all of the help on the side where we know they're throwing it the whole time.
Very true.
Now we got Gilmore in there. We can have guys floating around a little bit more in the safety position, which means if we know he's going to be a ball hawk and if we go through film and he's like, Coach, this quarterback has so many tells and this quarterback doesn't know what he's doing, I'm going to get 6 picks in this game. You go, all right, I'm going to put a safety over the top and let you go be a ball hawk.
Yep.
And then we're going to go play against the Chiefs, and I'm going to say, hey, I need you to play real good coverage because Patrick Mahomes ain't going to be the guy you're going to ball hawk on me for. So I'm going to need you over here because I got to have my safeties on Travis Kelce. So I got to have you be more of an island.
Yeah.
But you can work those game plans a little different now. Plus, there's a way more respect now. He knows he's there for the long term. Dan Quinn has got to know him for 2 seasons. I think what the progress we saw from year 1 to year 2 for Trayvon Diggs is what's really the most exciting thing about him. Because you can see all the talent and everything else, but if you don't see progress, then you go, well, he's maybe already at his ceiling. But what we saw of, he's still a ball hawk.
Yeah.
But he's starting to learn
The discipline.
which opportunities
Yeah.
and not just every single time it seems like it's a home run.
Totally agree.
And he's got help. So that's it.
So basically, he was a high-risk, high-reward player. Now you're talking about a lower, not totally low, but lower risk, but still he keeps the high reward.
Yeah, you're talking about raising the floor. You always talk about floors and ceilings on a player, and basically you're just raising the floor on Trayvon Diggs in that last season, which, look, he's still going to let some stuff go over the top because that's the type of player he is. But his worst game now seems a lot better, a lot better than he's not costing you a game as much as he may cost you a score. And if a score costs you the game, your offense ain't doing enough.
Yeah, and he's going to give it back to you, though.
Yeah, exactly.
He's going to make more plays than he gives up. That's what I love about Trayvon Diggs. Like, he gives up a play, but it's like, guys, he makes way more plays than he gives up.
I couldn't agree more.
Close.
I couldn't agree more. And then we were also talking about the number of interceptions that he had. The Cowboy that had the most interceptions in his first 3 seasons was Everson Walls.
Hey, I love it. Oh, man.
That's our boy Steve Foster. That's his cousin. That's his cousin.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
I'll also
Nice
throw
gene
this
pool.
in. I love that the contract he signed as well because he could have easily walked in and said, I want to set the new trend. And
Which
he
I
could
thought
have
he
easily
would.
done it. I mean, he could have waited another year. And if he has a great season this year, he could have gone in and said, no, you're paying me. I'm the top paid cornerback. I need 22 a year. He could have easily done that. He sat at number 5, which is still really, really good. But it's a 5-year deal. So, I mean, like that money is going to be really good. And, I mean, they're going to renegotiate in probably 3 years.
Yeah.
But you're sitting where he's under contract and you're going to be able to carry the ball. He wants to be a part of this Dan Quinn team. I like the number that he settled at, too. Plus, getting it done now, it means you get to move on to the next thing. What are we going to do for Zach Martin? What are we going to do for Micah Parsons? What are we going to do for some of these other players? We're not now in a world of limbo about what Trayvon Diggs is going to get.
You got CeeDee Lamb, too?
Yeah.
CeeDee Lamb too. Exactly. That's what I'm like. There's a lot. Brandon Cook's contract comes up. What are you going to do?
got a lot of guys.
So the quicker you sign these guys,
Yeah.
at least it gives you a better idea of what your plan is going forward, as opposed to, well, are we giving him 16, 17 a year, or are we giving him 22? Because that $5 million a year, we need to know. And what's the signing bonus? How big of a check am I writing?
No, I agree with you on that, too. And like I said, the Cowboys, that's why this is a big year. They got a lot of contracts that are coming up that they know, hey, man, Micah Parsons, you got to sign him. He's going to be the richest. I'm surprised Trevon Diggs didn't ask for more money.
Well, that was going to be my question for you as a DB.
He's top 5.
But he, as an agent, you're looking at that right there, and you're saying, hold up.
Is it his agent? Is it Mulugheta?
No, I don't know. I don't know. If
I'm asking.
No, I don't know if it is Mulugheta.
Mulugheta. I don't think it is. It can't be.
Because that's what I was just about to say.
He represents a lot of DBs, though. That's why I said that.
One of them is Jalen Ramsey. Another one is Derwin James.
He represents most of the best DBs in the NFL. Like, DB is kind of his thing. I get because he went to Texas, and Texas is DBU.
Yep.
So he kind of got an affinity for DBs in that regard. Anyway.
So let me ask you this. If that number seems to be kind of favorable to the Cowboys,
I think it is. I think Patrick's right. Yeah.
What does that do for the rest of them? If you're the agent, you're like, bro, I need you to be a little bit more aggressive on that because now I got to go negotiate. And if you're top 5, when I go to this bargaining table, it's going to change the way negotiations are.
Yeah.
Because that's how it's always happened. It's just like when Bryce Young got his money. Mulugheta was like, oh, perfect. I represent C.J. Stroud. Make sure you run me my money now. So that's where I am because it's the same conversation we've been talking about, and we'll get into Saquon Barkley. Saquon Barkley's at the meeting talking about, we got to stand together. We're going to fight this through. Let me go ahead and get that check. I got to show up to practice.
we don't know what Saquon said on the Zoom meeting, but Saquon did take the money. And I'm not mad at Saquon for that.
Hey, Saquon also signed a 1-year deal.
Exactly. It's a 1 year. It's a mercenary deal.
No, I get it. But I think that this is also part of maybe what they discussed of like, hey, man, this ain't the year because we have no leverage this year.
Yep.
I think next offseason, when you throw in Jonathan Taylor, when Saquon again will be a free agent, when all of these guys still are only on 1-year deals and now everything rolls over again, then, okay, let's go in this as a group. And there will be a little bit more. And now they're still going to franchise tag us and do whatever else. But we can go into this from week 1 of free agency and have a game plan instead of half of the free agent running back signing. And then we have to sit back at the end and go, well, like 3 guys are getting screwed.
That's true. And they do have to anticipate that, that they may get franchise tagged again. Because at least we don't know now if this new deal somehow has got a non-franchise tag clause in it for Saquon. We don't know that. That has not been reported. If that is not the case, then they can't franchise tag him again. And that would maybe, like you said, maybe now he'll be prepared for that and should be prepared for it anyway.
And also, why would you not non-exclusive franchise tag these guys too? That we saw them give to Lamar Jackson. There is not a team in their right mind who is going to pay them and give up draft picks for a running back.
There's got to be something we're missing on that. That's a good point. I don't know why.
But the reason why is because they're going in there and saying we're not signing that deal for that.
I get that.
I'm not doing that anymore.
But that's what I'm saying. I think if your NFL's playing hardball,
at least it's cheaper.
Yeah, then you're going like, I'm not paying you $10 million.
It's a cheaper
That's
tag.
crazy.
He gets $2 million signing bonus. He gets an $8 million base. So they essentially took the franchise tag and basically built in it's an incentive-based deal, and they give him the $2 million signing bonus up front. And it's a 1-year deal. It's a mercenary deal for him. I guess because he assumes he's going to hit the free agent market next season. But like I said, if he doesn't have a non-franchise tag clause, they can also franchise tag him again.
I know, which is awful.
Oh, yeah, the NFL can do that.
Yeah.
They franchise tag you like, I think it's twice. Maybe, I don't know, it's twice. I know they can do it.
I think it's 3, but every time it just gets more and more expensive.
It gets more and more expensive.
So for other positions, like for quarterback, it's basically impossible to do 3 times because you're paying a guy like $90 million.
That's what Kirk Cousins has been doing every single time.
He did it twice.
Yeah. Go ahead and run me that too.
Yep.
So yeah, it's a lot of money, especially because quarterbacks are getting more and more money. But yeah, I think for running backs, if the market keeps going down and down,
it's actually pretty cheap. It's cost effective.
Because Derrick Henry's contract is up at the end of this year, I think, and that's one of the higher ones. So once you take that one off the board, there goes the franchise tag goes down again.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. I agree with that. So Saquon Barkley, he'll be available. He'll be playing with the New York Giants. I'm assuming he's motivated. This is a contract year for him.
Yeah. Every year is.
If you're a running back.
Yeah, every year is your contract year now, bro.
Amen to that.
So I'd much rather be a free agent, not a free agent, but an undrafted player, come in, put up big numbers, sign the 1-year deal, go make good numbers, and then go out there and try to make some more money. This is utterly ridiculous how this is all played out. But like you said this week, it's the market, it's the way that it goes. But hopefully at some point people will come to a resolution of Daniel Jones is not the quarterback without Saquon Barkley. And that's the other part of that too. But it is what it is, and that's how we're going to have to view it. But I would have loved to see what Daniel Jones was able to do without a Saquon Barkley.
I would too, and I think Brian Dable is a good coach too. I want to see
what
if
that
he
would
can
be
win
like.
games without Saquon.
Yeah.
That would have been interesting. I think Saquon should have played a little bit more hardball.
Yeah.
He knows they need
I
him.
do. Yes.
It's pretty obvious. I mean, they need you.
Yes.
And that right now you got the Jets that are becoming the story in New York football wise. Even though you made the playoffs last season and did really
Exactly.
well,
Beat Minnesota.
Yeah, exactly. When Minnesota
with
was
Saquon.
I know. I think he. Like I said, we know he would have ended up playing, but I think I'm with you. You should have made them see what life would have been like without Saquon. Let's see like 1 or 2 games. Like you saw, you can see.
I'm just curious.
I can see.
It seems like it had to have been something that was discussed in that Zoom meeting, though, right?
I assume so.
I would assume that he was like, "Well, look, what is the offer that I get?" That you guys go, no, sign that. It doesn't help us to negotiate this. And talk to your agent and go, man, trust me, if you turn down 11, then they're just going to back off everything. If you turn down over the franchise
because
tag.
that is franchise. That's over the franchise
If you're giving
tag.
over the franchise tag and you turn that down, you could be hurting us.
I still believe Josh Jacobs is going to be the one to say, I'm out.
Well, because I don't think they're offering Josh Jacobs $10 million.
And
it is.
My
That
guess
is the
is
franchise. That
No,
is the
that's what I'm
franchise
saying.
number.
I don't think they're offering him more than that.
And
Let's put it this way.
And reportedly, he's like, not only displeased, but he's not with them right now. That's the report. He's not there.
He's Zach Martin.
And there's also a difference. I like it's how we just said Trayvon Diggs. You get to pay for Dan.
Yeah, Dan Quinn.
Dan Quinn.
okay.
You're happy. For Saquon, he gets to play with Brian Daboll.
Yeah.
Josh Jacobs got to go play for Josh McDaniels. Like I'm like, man, you got to pay me to play with this guy.
Yep. Run me my money.
Yeah, but at least you know you'll. Yeah, no, you're right. Yeah, you can't justify that. There's no upside
You're
to that.
not putting me in a
That's
position to win. I have to run. Oh, and then what? Don't worry, we have Jimmy Garoppolo.
Oh, I forgot about Jimmy
Yeah.
G.
I like Jimmy J. I like Jimmy G.
well,
I
you
do
know I'm
too.
a big fan.
But if I was a running back, I'd expect to be the focus of the offense.
Oh, well, that's
If
the
I
only.
led the league in rushing last year and they signed Jimmy Garoppolo to replace David Carr or Derek Carr, I'd be like, oh, yeah, no, I'm the center of this offense. I get you have Adams out there you can throw the ball up to, but they're going to triple team him.
Yeah, Shanahan showed you that. Just like, no, Jimmy G needs to play a certain role. If he plays that role, y'all can win a lot of games.
Mm-hmm.
You want to ask him to do more than that, then you're in uncharted waters when it comes to Jimmy G for the most part. And you got to keep him upright because he's fragile.
And Kyle Shanahan ran the ball.
That's the Shanahan run game. You always know that. That insert quarterback here. Who's it? Brock Purdy, Mr. Irrelevant? Put him in there. We can win some games.
And
Who
he's
is
back.
it?
He's healthy.
Exactly.
He's
You know,
healthy.
I just heard that. He's practicing now,
he's
right?
practicing. He's
he
back in
knows. He's like, I can't let Trey Lance take this damn job from me because he's like, actually, being a 49ers quarterback might be the easiest job for a quarterback in the NFL.
Yep.
Because you got a coach that'll always put you in a good situation. You got one of the best O-lines in the NFL. You got a strong running game. You got an all-pro wide receiver out there. Another really good wide receiver in Ayuk. You got an all-pro tight end. It's, I'm not saying it's easy, but it's easier than most offenses in the NFL.
It's about to go down.
And you got a really good defense.
Yes.
It's like, oh, man, you want that job.
Yeah.
That's why Aaron Rodgers should be like, hey, I want to be the 49ers quarterback.
And my coach won Matt Ryan an MVP.
Oh, God, forget about that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Forgot all about
Yeah.
You forget, but now we know what Matt Ryan has been and what he is.
That's what I'm saying. This guy wanted me. So come on, let me be the quarterback.
All right, so we'll make our NFL predictions and picks in the 5 o'clock hour. We'll actually get that done because I want to get that out there so that just in case everybody have their bragging rights, just in case.
They're
their
gonna be around.
Predictions are accurate for the NFL season. So we'll give you division winners, we'll give you playoff teams, then we'll give you conference matchups and also the Super Bowl matchup for us. So we'll do that coming up in the 5 o'clock hour and have some fun with that. But Trevon Diggs signing a new deal with the Cowboys, Saquon Barkley signing a 1-year kind of mercenary deal with the New York Giants. 27 NFL teams reporting to training camp today, gentlemen.
Love it.
Football season is officially upon us.
Bring it.
All right, we got to talk about what was actually the biggest story in sports, and it was a sad one, but now one that's more optimistic. Bronny James actually went into cardiac arrest earlier today in practice at a workout. So we'll discuss it, but he is stable. So that's good news. So we'll get into that too. Dylan Campbell speaking of good news, Straight Cash Homie signed his deal really close to the deadline. What's the deadline? Like 30 minutes from now?
Yeah, 3 o'clock.
Like
I mean, it was already 3.
Oh, it was at 3? Okay.
Yeah.
So he signed his deal earlier today. We'll talk about that and what that means for him. And Astros, go Astros, with a dramatic win over the Rangers last night. That also will be on the docket. All that and more right here on Ball Don't Lie. 104.9 The Horn. Welcome back to Ball Don't Lie right here on 104.9 The Horn. It is a top of the charts Tuesday. That's when the Idealionaire, Patrick Davis, takes jams that reach the top of the Billboard charts on this day in history. Well done. Damn good. Damn great. Great song, actually.
Lean on me. Yeah, right there.
And the title of a damn good movie, too.
Yeah, it is.
I like it. Yeah.
Sam's.
That's what I
Sam's.
say. Bill Weathers, highly underappreciated.
Well, we talked about this, that, you listen to a lot of the classic kind of soul, when soul music was actually kind of a popular genre, and Bill Withers was a beast in the soul genre, and this is another classic. Yeah. All right. Thanks to Patrick always for his efforts on a musically themed day of the week, all of his musically themed days of the week. You can be a part of the show. Specs Text Line's the best way to do it, 512-337-3776. You also can hit us up via Twitter. Harge is at Hardball Harge in the Twitterverse. My man Patrick Davis at It's Patrick Davis in the Twitterverse. And I'm at Rod Babers in the Twitterverse. Let's start with some good news that Longhorn fans should be excited about. Dylan Campbell. Harge, you said that he would get his money.
Yeah.
And we were a little worried because yesterday he still hadn't signed. But turns out it is done right before the deadline. Not right before, but the day of the deadline, I should say.
Yeah.
He ends up signing his deal with the Dodgers.
Yeah, it's a big get for Dylan Campbell, and you know as well as I do, there's some times of negotiation. What's going on? How is this going to be possible? Do I really want to go? Do I want to come back to Texas? $500,000. You can't pass that up, especially when your slot was $473. You're supposed to. That was the number that they were going to be around, and then you start looking at the pool of money that is still out there, and they got this done. I mean, this is an exciting time for him and his family. They're in California signing the deal now, and I'm working to get him on the show tomorrow, so we could possibly talk to him. But we'll see what happens. But yeah, this is great for Dylan because there was an article that came out. Our friends over at Horn Sports talked about the fact that he batted 189 his freshman year.
That's crazy.
189 his freshman year, and everybody was going after him and talking about him and like, oh, man, who is this kid? Why is he here? And it's like, because the kid can play. He's an athlete. He went and got after it. So for him to go out there and be able to develop into that player, 38-game hitting streak, longest in Texas baseball history, longest in the Big 12. So for him, I'm just excited about everything that has happened for this young man.
And obviously so Longhorn fans who were hoping that if it didn't work out for him, that he'd come back to the 40 acres. That is not happening. What are your thoughts about what this does and how it affects Texas baseball?
Well, I think it's one of those situations where if you were a betting man, you should have bet that Dylan was going to sign. You know what I'm saying? Because
you hinted at it. You tried to tempt the people.
I was like, the dude's not coming here. There was some rumblings that, if the number wasn't right, if it didn't get to this point, there might have been an opportunity for him to come back.
With him,
but this was the right move for him. This was the right move for his family, and most importantly, get his clock going. Because even if he came back, there was going to be a log jam at a lot of positions. Because you think about it, Porter Brown is back.
It's a good problem now.
You're bringing back some pitchers. You got some guys in the outfield that are trying to get their playing time. You got guys that you brought in from the transfer portal. Obviously, Dylan was going to be a player no matter what. But now you can start working with some of the younger players that are waiting for their time to put up some numbers as well.
Yeah. So congrats to the Campbell family. Congrats to Dylan, man. I know he's worked hard on that. His story is just great. You still telling me that he got benched on a 2 seasons ago.
Yeah.
And I was just like, man, considering that, he's faced a lot and been able to overcome it, so I'm happy for him. All right, let's get to the big story that happened earlier today in sports, the announcement, and at least the report that Bronny James collapsed on the court. Now, apparently this happened on Monday because a statement has now, because of all it, a statement was released about it. And it says basically yesterday while practicing Bronny James suffered a cardiac arrest. Medical staff was able to treat Bronny and take him to the hospital. He is now in stable condition, no longer in the ICU. We ask for respect and privacy for the James family, and we will update media when there is more information. LeBron and Savannah wish to publicly send their deepest thanks and appreciation to the USC medical and athletic staff for their incredible work and dedication to the safety of their athletes.
Yep.
Wow. That's beyond scary to think about that. Any parent out there, I'm sure that's, even hearing about it from somebody else dealing with that situation, I'm sure brings it close to home. We've seen this before with athletes for different reasons or another. Some people may have had already diagnosed, and sometimes it's undiagnosed.
It's undiagnosed.
They can
a lot of
have
times.
different issues, cardiac issues. So I'm just glad that it was a practice or a workout where they had medical obviously staff there
on hand.
Yeah, that were available that could have acted swiftly.
Yep.
So that is. That could go all kinds of wrong in a lot of ways.
For sure.
So, that is a very, very scary situation for the James family.
Definitely one of those situations that you sit there and you look at and you're saying, okay, what is happening with this young man? What is going on? Even though he's a young person, you still can go out there and see different kids that are going through all this stuff. That's why these clinics are now set up to do heart screenings.
They do.
As someone who works in healthcare, I've always in constant conversation with some physicians, cardiologists actually, and they always talk about the fact that you need to be around, you need to go get your heart screened because nowadays kids, they're developing a lot different than what we were. There's so many different things that are being in their life, whether it's the workout, the nutrition, everything that's going on. There is always something, and we talked about this before too. Matt Nader, the former UT signee. Now he works in the healthcare world.
Good for him.
He works in the healthcare world, and he actually is working with cardiologists a lot of the times to make sure that they're staying ahead of this stuff. So it is a very fortunate situation for LeBron and them, and it is a very unfortunate situation for Bronny James for what he went through, but I'm just glad that he's okay, and we're going to monitor the situation. And USC had a player that went down before that they helped, and he went back and played basketball as well, too. So
yeah, we saw Keontae Johnson had some issues. They got cleared for the NBA action, so there is positive chances of everything. Once you figure out what it is, once you figure out how to treat it, you're good to go, and they find a way for you to keep going.
Yep.
Yeah, I would say that's really scary. But I'm glad that he was at a USC workout, and USC staff, man, they get a lot of credit for that because he stabilized, fairly quickly. Yeah, they really didn't say he was in ICU for that long. So obviously, shouts out and prayers to the James family for that. Let's get to the Astros, gentlemen. Astros with a big win over the Rangers last night. It was a dramatic win, walk-off for the Astros, finding a way to win that matchup. And, man, a lot of runs scored, too, early on in that game. I believe it was E. Hogan and I actually were doing he does his podcast with Mike Craven, and we were recording some of that. And turns out the Astros were down early in the matchup and found a way. It was a battle throughout. That was exactly kind of the game we thought we'd see. That was almost a playoff atmosphere and playoff feel to it between the Astros and the Rangers.
That's exactly what you wanted.
That's what it felt like.
Yeah, that's how it should be. That's exactly how you wanted that to be. We talked about it. I said it's either going to be low scoring or it's going to be high scoring. And the fact that they were able to show improve, both teams, back and forth. You score one inning, I score one inning. You make a big play, I make a big play. But what did I say yesterday before we left? Why is Chas McCormick splitting time? Chas McCormick deserves to be in the lineup every single day.
6 ribbies.
Exactly. And he turned around that fastball by Aroldis Chapman, who has been staring at people for the last week and a half since he's been a Ranger. Pitched pitched very well. But last night, I think he just can't. He can't pitch in Minute Maid. That place is kryptonite to him. He cannot pitch there.
Hey, and I think too, when you go up against Kyle Tucker has one of the best eyes in the game, and he basically was able to watch some of those 100-mile-plus-hour fastballs and not swing. Yep. And once he started missing the plate, he started missing the plate more and more. You get two guys on, and then you're just trying to find it, and Chas McCormick was waiting for it.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, we had a discussion right before the matchup about Chas McCormick. Both you guys adamant that Dusty, whether it's mind games or, and like I said, maybe he's trying to maybe this is his way of motivating Chas McCormick.
Well, I think he's got the message.
He's playing the best baseball.
Yes.
He also had a great play in the outfield.
career.
Yes,
He had
another
a great
great
defensive
play.
play in that game as well.
Okay, so you guys are upset that Dusty isn't playing more of Chas McCormick, but he is playing the best baseball of his career, so something's going right.
Something is going right.
Right?
No.
So,
No, we're not mad. It doesn't make sense. That was what we were trying to figure out. We're like, why was he refusing to play him for the entire beginning of the season?
maybe that's part of the motivation,
And
though.
hopefully it was, and hopefully he's good now.
Coaches play mind games like that all the
Oh,
time.
we know.
The
Yeah,
big thing,
that's harsh.
No, the big
We
thing
know.
was the trade deadline is like what 6 days away, something like that, and
August 1st.
his name was in a lot of those talks. So you just want to be like, hey man, can we take his name out of some of these talks?
Yeah,
now?
that
I
don't
think
do
is
that.
more
Yeah.
of where you're just kind of. We
Okay.
get Dusty doesn't like him, but you can't trade away the hottest guy on the team.
No, not
No.
that dude. No, especially while you're waiting for guys to get healthy and get
Yeah.
your reinforcements. No, he's been on fire.
Yeah.
And he figured out the slider. We'll give the stats next time we talk Astros, but the stats say last season, and I don't know about his career, but last season he struggled with the slider. Hart says, hey, man, that's the difference between the boy. That's the difference between the boys and the men.
Exactly.
In Major League Baseball is who
And
can
I've
figure
been
out
on
the slider.
bended knee. I've been on bended knee.
You want to play, you want to play in the majors with the big dogs. That's
Yeah.
the difference. And this year he's been great against the slider, and he just continues to play the best baseball of his career. Arguably, I haven't looked at his career stats, but I can't. It'd be hard for me to imagine he's had a streak or at least a string of games, a span of games that he's playing better baseball than he is right now.
I would agree with you. And every time he comes to the plate, you can tell that he has a ton of confidence.
Why wouldn't he?
You see that now. That's what the swag is about. You know as well as I do. You out there and you making all the plays and you're actually catching those interceptions. Your swag is
yes,
on
it is.
12.
It is.
You are out there doing your
Yeah.
thing. You're like, please throw my way.
That's true.
And it's like now he's running to the bat rack to get up to the plate because he knows he's going to have a quality at bat. He came up to at bat
Good point.
twice with the bases loaded. Well, once with the bases loaded, the other one with runners in scoring position, and he delivered on both of them.
Yeah.
Like you said, 6 ribbies yesterday. It's
he's-
beautiful.
No, he is, man. He is balling. I'm
Yeah.
happy for him. And yeah, the Astros now is that lead a 2-game lead now for the Rangers.
2-game lead.
2 games lead.
All right, tonight big game for the Astros and the Rangers. Rangers be trying to bounce back. For the Astros, they'll be trying to close that gap.
Yep.
I think the desperation here. I think the Rangers might take this one.
Well,
It's desperation.
if that right
their
fielder has to make a throw again, then yeah, I would say you might want to go with the Astros. I'm like, come on, man, throw the ball to home plate.
What?
I believe our Garcia is going to be back today, though.
I hope so, and I
Because
know that the
Garcia make that
Rangers
throw.
are hoping so.
No, because Garcia makes that throw.
Oh, the dude's not running.
Yeah, Tucker
You're not
doesn't
even
run
on that.
Yeah, Tucker doesn't run on.
That's
Garcia.
great scouting by Gary Pettis at third base. He knew
Yeah.
my man had noodle arm out there and
And
was like, I'm running
Go.
anyway.
Go.
Go.
And then some people even said that it was still a little too close at the plate. Too. It was still he may not have touched the plate like it was.
Yeah, but I don't listen to those people because I saw that throw.
Okay.
That he
The throw-
deserved to be safe. You deserve to lose that game if a major league right fielder can't throw the ball all the way to home plate. And I was still trying to last night when we were texting during the game, I was like, why did he cut the throw? Like, don't cut that throw. Just let it go.
Well, because I guess
Let it bounce 12 times, and then we'll really know
I was
that my
gonna say,
man's arm
I
is.
probably so he didn't embarrass his
Yeah.
teammate. It's like, bro, I'm gonna catch
He's like,
that
I know.
'cause
Well, he
if
knew
we-
him. He was like, oh, I know him.
Yeah, we watched it, bro. It's gonna be sad when it dribbles its way and rolls its way trying to the plate. So. Now you're right, but the Astros get a dramatic win in Game 1 of that series.
And it does look like
Rangers.
Altuve and Alvarez will not play tonight.
Yeah,
Both
they're
of them are
taking
still-
batting practice right now. But
Yeah.
We
Yeah,
won
they-
Game 1 too, so you
Yeah, and I mean,
good.
either one could be available in the game as well, but neither one of them looks like to be in the starting lineup. But it does look like Garcia will be back for the Rangers after getting hit in the hand on Sunday.
People on the text line giving
yeah, Garcia is back in right field. But guess who's in left field?
they talking trash on that throw, man.
Jakowski. He's back in there. Janky is back in there.
Longhorn Bears said that was a weak throw. Jankowski's arm is kind of janky, says Joe number 2.
For real.
I get. Hey, well, get into it if you're in the
Yeah, I'm like,
hey,
man.
they best say the baseball has a way of finding you.
It does all the time. Every time. Hey, Hard, you got an error at shortstop. Guess what? They're going to hit you another one right now. Throw it into the stands.
Hey, that's what they put him over by the Crawford boxes, though. let that field come in a little bit. And get the Crawford boxes.
I'm like, my goodness.
Oh, man. All right, we'll come back. We'll get to the flex on the other side right here on Ball Don't Lie, 104.9 The Horn. Welcome back to Ball Don't Lie right here on 104.9 The Horn. It is a top of the charts Tuesday. That's when the Idillionaire, Patrick Davis, that's when he puts some jams up for us that have reached the top of the Billboard charts on this day in history. And I'm not sure exactly what this is.
Oh, you don't know this one?
I'll probably know in the chorus.
Yeah, here you go right here. He's bad, Leroy Brown. Baddest man in the whole damn town. Better than no King Kong. And he's meaner than a junkyard dog.
Why do you know this song so well? What?
Because
it's a classic.
It's a classic, number one. But number two, there used to be not a WWE, but a wrestler.
Oh, his intro was this?
Yeah.
That was his intro music?
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. I was like, it was like an intro song for the TV show or something. I was like, I don't know why Harge knows this song.
It was a classic song that it's been played a lot for the last 50 years.
Okay. It does sound like like I said, a theme song to some TV show or cartoon or something.
Some old Jim Croce.
Jim Croce. All right, there you go. See, I didn't. I will admit, I've heard that song before, but maybe once or twice. But I didn't know that Harge knew it by heart.
Oh yeah.
It's one of your favorite jams.
Well, it will get some play.
Bad Leroy Brown. Is that it? It's Bad Leroy Brown?
Bad Leroy Brown.
Bad twice. Okay. They want to disrespect.
Extra bad.
Because he's badder than King Kong, old King Kong.
Badder than old King Kong.
And meaner than a junkyard dog.
Okay, there you go. Junkyard dogs can be real mean.
They are real mean.
Trust me. All right. Kickers for the All Flex team. FLXATX.com, FLXATX on all your social media platforms. You can go check out the release of the All Flex watch list for the best football players in the area. And by the way, I can guarantee you, we missed some. All right, that's why during the season the list is updated and they make a revamp. So this is literally just on a rough draft. So if you get upset or offended because he's like, "Hey man, it's a really good player," they didn't mention him in the Flex area, all you gotta do is reach out to the Flex team. Go to FLXATX.com. So the kickers are three of them being listed on the watch list. Kai Haruki. Hope I got that name right. From Round Rock. You actually watched Round Rock? Did I get his name correctly?
Yep.
Peyton Mas from Elgin, and Spencer Barnett of Westlake are the kickers for the All Flex team. The punters for the watch list, I should say, All Flex watch list.
There you go.
Evan Vosk of Northeast, Ivan Rodriguez of Leander, and Owen Norrell of Westwood are the punters for the All Flex watch list. And the long snappers are Jake Helms from Westlake, Luca Wilson from Cedar Park, Tristan Compton of Hutto, and your return specialist. And they got 4 return specialists here.
Five.
Oh, 5 return specialists.
Yeah, Adrian Wilson from Weiss, Bryson Batts from Austin High, Heath McCree. You and I got a chance to meet with Heath McCree from Westlake. Your partner, Leonard Moore. Moore from Round Rock, and Miles Coleman, who we also got a chance to chop it up with from Vandergrift.
And Leonard Moore, I'm sure he's going to be listed again. And so will Miles Coleman. I can guarantee both those guys, you're going to see them on the other positions on the All Flex watch list coming up. They'll be doing DBs coming up tomorrow. Also, linebackers will be coming up tomorrow, too. So go check it out if you missed any of these selections. Remember, yesterday they revealed the offensive and defensive lines for the All Flex watch list. All right, we come back. We'll dive into some Texas football discussion, all college football discussion as well. Jim Harbaugh is facing a 4-game suspension. We'll dive into the details of that. Arch Manning has his first trading card that is out, and he also is signed his first big NIL deal. Quinn Ewers' predictions to be one of the best passers in college football, one of the top passers in college football, and Big 12 travel miles, which teams in the Big 12 travel the most for this upcoming college football season. All that and more right here on Ball Don't Lie on 104.9 The Horn. Welcome back to Ball Don't Lie right here on 104.9 The Horn. Top of the charts Tuesday. That's when Patrick the Idillionaire plays jams that reached the top of the Billboard charts on this day in history. Man, Harge is already into it. This was like. Just want to make sure let him drop in.
I want to give you all of that.
I know.
Yeah.
I want to give it the window to open in.
This bass I got right here ain't giving me all that.
I thought Harge was going to start it out, but he did. But at least I wanted to give him a chance to drop in. All right, Patrick hooking it up on a top of the charts Tuesday. Harge is feeling your selections,
back-to-back days, Patrick. You've been on it, dog.
He's feeling your selections, man. 512-337-3776. That's the number to the Specs text line. We will get back to NFL discussion because a lot of big NFL topics, and also we're going to give our NFL predictions coming up in the top of the 5 o'clock. Harsh Knock Life, what you got coming up for the people, Harsh?
We've been talking about all of these injuries, and there's so many freak accidents that happen away from the baseball field, away from the football field. But I got this book that I've been taking care of, and it's from my man David Berger. It's called Take Me Out to the Ball Game, A Comical and Freakish Injuries We Cannot Make Up. So there are some injuries out there. We're going to have a little bit of fun with this today.
Yeah, no, baseball has the weirdest, craziest injuries. Like
from sneezing.
Yeah, there's no sport even close
exactly
to baseball when it comes to weird, freaky, crazy injuries.
No doubt.
Yeah, we'll get into that coming up. That'll be fun. All right, so let's get into this Jim Harbaugh story first, and we'll make our way from kind of the national headlines to the Texas headlines here, and we'll talk Texas quarterbacks because Arch Manning's in the news, so is Quinn Ewers, and also we'll get to this Big 12 story as well, Big 12 travel miles in the upcoming Big 12 football schedule. But this story dropped earlier today, gentlemen. Michigan head coach Jim Harbaugh and the NCAA are reportedly negotiating a resolution that will result in Jim Harbaugh being suspended for 4 games.
Yep.
This according to Ross Dellinger. The suspension stems from alleged false statements Jim Harbaugh made to the NCAA investigators. It's centered on an NCAA investigation into recent recruiting violations committed by the Wolverines staff members. The NCAA alleged that Harbaugh was dishonest about the violations in his initial meeting with the investigators. Michigan coach Jim Harbaugh, it says the statement from Ross Dellinger, Michigan coach Jim Harbaugh and NCAA are working toward a negotiated resolution that's expected to see him suspended for 4 games this season in penalties stemming from alleged false statements. So that means the first 4 games of the season will be East Carolina, UNLV, Bowling Green, and Rutgers. So they open the season at home in those first 4 games. There you go.
Okay.
We don't know exactly what they are not specific as to what the violations are. They're not yet. That will drop, I'm sure, what the violations are. But right now, they have not been specific on that. But 4 games, it had to be something pretty. Pretty serious.
I cannot believe a coach lied about recruiting violations. Oh, my God. Now the NCAA wants to get all involved in a situation where a coach lied to an investigator.
They have investigators?
I mean, that's exactly
I didn't know that.
right. Exactly. So you're sitting there talking about all these allegations. It's so funny where they pick and choose where they want to fight and what they don't want to fight. We talked about this just the other day, Rod. They had people going to classes at North Carolina that wasn't even classes. But they didn't get anything wrong with it.
No, but they told the truth about it.
Oh, that's what it was. That's where
there you go.
Technicalities. There you go.
Can we just get them to make the suspension next year, though?
Except when we play them
Yeah, I
up
prefer
there.
that. We could get it next year.
I need you to defer
They're
to
negotiating it, so maybe they could negotiate it.
I want to do one here, one.
Negotiation.
Can I pick the games I don't want to be at? Eastern Michigan. You know what I'm saying? So, this is,
Yeah, I guess it must be serious. So I wonder what coach is suspended for 4 games. And they said they're negotiating. They must have had a harsher suspension, and now we're negotiating to 4 games, right?
Yeah. Well, they'll probably negotiate it down to 2 games, like some of these other coaches.
Oh, you're right. They might end up at 2. I don't know.
They may end up to something else, but the NCAA just wants you to know we are still here. Don't disrespect us.
I wonder if it has something to do with NIL. That to me would be interesting if it is, but it could just be old school recruiting violations.
It could be. It could definitely be that.
Like stuff like that. So Yeah, I mean, it's not a big story. 'Cause-
Misleading, false and misleading information.
So they just outright lie, or are we talking about an exaggeration?
You know what it's about. And most of the time, it's probably about practices. It's probably about
So like recruiting. It says recruiting, though, I believe.
yeah. They showed up. Remember, some other school had recruits. Was it during COVID?
Yes.
Remember, they weren't supposed
Yeah.
to. Wasn't it Oklahoma at one point had people that were there? They
Michigan
were posting
recruiting.
pictures of them being on the field and things like that. And it's like, hold up. No, you can't do that. You can't have those people there, and they had to take down the pictures. There's so much that was probably in that vague area during that time that it was like, let's just, what'd you say? Habitual line stepper. That's where he was at. He was stepping the line and got caught up. I don't think it was nothing worth him being suspended for 4 games. Again, I think it's something that the NCAA is looking at and saying, all right, we got to do something. Because it was brought to our attention.
Wasn't Jim Harbaugh the one that had the story that he slept on like the guy's
Yeah.
floor?
Yeah.
There's a lot of
Because-
crazy stories like that.
Yeah, so
He went up
I could
somebody's
imagine-
clubhouse one time.
Yeah, I could imagine that was something where it's like he did something that was crazy, and they're like, "Hey man, you can't like."
I know before games to me, that's like to me, that's a violation that would be kind of a misdemeanor. I don't know if
Yeah.
you get 4 games for that. I was like 4 game
Yeah.
suspension seems to me like I said, that's why I was like, I think it seems to me like maybe it's something serious. 4 games seems to be pretty serious. Like 1 game, 2 games, 4 games.
Yeah,
Like that's not just
Yeah.
that's not just misdemeanor stuff. That's like that might be pretty serious. I wonder what it is. Not serious like, oh, he's a bad person. Serious, but like he obviously
Yeah.
was. And maybe you're right. Maybe it's not the recruiting violation that's serious. Maybe it's the fact that he lied.
That's
Maybe to go back
exactly-
to the Des Bryant situation. It was like it wasn't that Des Bryant violated NCAA rules by going out to, was it a dinner or something like that?
Yeah, with Deion
Impermissible.
Sanders.
It was a dinner with
It was Deion Sanders and his
It was
agent.
a dinner with Deion.
Yeah.
It was a dinner with. You
Yeah.
know what? I would have violated that NCAA rule too.
Exactly.
Deion, take me to dinner, please.
Let's do this.
Yeah, let's go to
Yeah.
dinner. But anyway, so it might be Patrick. Maybe you're right. Maybe it was something misdemeanor. But then when he lied about it,
Yeah.
they're gonna be
Yeah.
like, hey, no, you lied about it. Because for like you said, for Dez, it was a misdemeanor, relatively, kind of misdemeanor violation. Should have been suspended like a game or 2 or 3 or something like that, maybe. And then they suspended. I think he was like off for the season,
Yeah.
right? Because he lied to
Yeah.
Yeah,
investigators.
he ended up not playing
So maybe
the
that's
entire
it.
time.
Maybe the cover up is worse than the crime.
Yeah.
To them.
Isn't that most of the time?
Yeah,
To a
that's
lot of
true.
people.
Yeah, because you got to lie a lot when you're covering it up. Like the
Because it's
crime.
continual. Because they're going to ask you questions forever.
Yeah, sometimes the crime could have been unintentional. In terms of
Yep.
crime, we're talking about the violation of NCAA rules, so
Yep.
it should be fair. So maybe that was unintentional. But then once you found out that you violated the rules, then you went up and covered it up.
Yep.
And you lied to like multiple people to cover it up. Then you had to lie to cover up the lies, and you keep on lying. You know you got
And
to
you
keep up a
forgot
lie.
the lies that you were talking
Oh,
about.
that's the
lies.
worst when you forget
Yeah.
your lies. You're like,
Yeah.
damn it, I forgot my lies.
Man,
Can't
you
keep your
know-
lies
You
straight.
forget to tell somebody that they're supposed to lie.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
What was it?
You said what? He's like, you didn't tell me.
Menace to Society, Bill Duke sitting across from you. You know you didn't messed up,
You
right?
know you're effed up now.
Yeah, you remember when you told me at 7:45 you was gonna be, and
There you
then
go.
the clock told me it was 8:15. Oh my bad. I thought I told you it was 8:15. No, you actually told me it was 7:45. See, I got you.
I got you. You're effed up now.
Yeah, you know.
No, but you're right. So I didn't. First of all, the NCAA investigators. I wonder how intimidating they are.
Yeah.
Now I'm worried about Jim Harbaugh. I was like, bro, you let NCAA investigators shake you up. I mean, how'd that happen?
Remember
you let them
BB
discombobulate you?
Remember the Big 12 commissioner at one point? What was his name? Was it Don Beebe or Bill Beebe?
I think I think you're right. It was Don.
It was Beebe.
It was Don. Yeah.
Yeah.
Dan Beebe or Don
Dan
Beebe.
Beebe.
Dan Beebe.
Dan Beebe, because
Okay.
or whichever one was not the wide receiver for the Buffalo Bills. The other one was an NCAA investigator at one point, and he was the guy that cracked the information about SMU.
Oh, really?
So they know how to manipulate that system.
Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's quite impressive how
I'm
they did
gonna
it.
just gonna imagine NCAA investigators are like the library cop on Seinfeld.
Oh,
That's
Bookman.
someone- Yes, Bookman.
He was Bookman. Yeah, it was a library
He
cop.
just-
Wait, they had a bookman?
Yeah, he was a
character?
library cop, and then Jerry had an overdue book.
An overdue book, yeah.
Yeah,
and,
it
he
was-
just read off long like monologues about why.
Because the bookman
why
I'm thinking
books are so
about is
important.
Good Times.
Yeah, no, that is a
The
bookman.
super.
He was a super, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. That's
But
what
they
I'm
got
thinking of.
He's a bookman. He was he was a library investigator.
Literally
who-
named Bookman.
Who he was like, that's an. I remember the phrase. That's like an ice cream man being named Cone. It's crazy. But yeah, and one of the inventors of the toilet named Crapper.
I believe so. I believe I did hear
one of the
that.
inventors of the toilet was named
believe I
Crapper,
did
and that's
hear
why
that.
they call it that sometimes. It's not for the reason you think it is.
Yep.
If I'm not mistaken. That's a Craig Way factoid I believe I learned along the way. All right, there you go. So Jim Harbaugh apparently is negotiating his 4-game suspension. Negotiating his 4-game suspension? Who's he, Pablo Escobar?
He tried to be. He might have been doing some a lot worse stuff.
When can you negotiate your own
Okay,
suspension?
that's the thing. Somebody's like, we're coming down hard on him. Well, how hard? He hasn't told us yet.
No, seriously. I was watching this documentary about Pablo Escobar, and one of the things when he turned himself in, he got to pick his own prison,
Yes.
build his own prison, and pick all of his guards.
He wanted to make sure his security was his security.
And that was his prison. It was like, yeah, you're going to prison. It's like, well, I picked the prison, I built the prison, and all the guards are guards that are under my payroll. Like that was his jail, that was his prison time when he turned himself in. I'm like, how does Jim Harbaugh get to negotiate his own suspension? Like what? Like I said, that's how flimsy the NCAA is as an organization.
That's
They have
why
no
it's-
backbone at all.
Yeah, hey, what
That's why
can we
it's
suspend
shocking.
you without you suing us?
Right.
What's the number before you're gonna sue us?
What suspension worked for you? I'll take 1 game of that 4-game suspension every year, each of the next 4 years. How about that? Like,
Yep.
deal. God, come on,
love
NCAA. Get a backbone.
Love it.
All right, let's talk about Arch Manning.
Let's do it.
Arch Manning, gentlemen, congratulations are in order because Arch Manning has signed his first NIL deal. And he signed it with a collectibles company. They do trading cards and different memorabilia, stuff like that. Panini is the company. Jeff Howe, actually, give Jeff Howe a lot of credit because Jeff Howe, he's deep in this world, in the trading card world, the kind of memorabilia collectible world.
Yep.
And this organization, he was talking about, the card, basically the type of card that Arch Manning is going to have as a part of this NIL deal. They're going to have a Arch Manning trading card. And by the way, shout out to him because all proceeds from the trading card are going to benefit a nonprofit through St. David's Healthcare and St. David's Foundation. So shout out to him for that. But there's
Arch doing grown man things right there.
Well, we know
That's
that.
grown man right there.
Yeah, and so I'm glad there's obviously a charitable element like most of these NIL deals. There should be one of those. And apparently the throwback Prism Black autographed
Yep.
1-of-1 trading card.
1 of 1.
1-of-1. So there's only
Yep.
one of these made in the world. 1-of-1. So that obviously that rarity increases the value of it. He signed it himself. The signature, by the way,
Was
man,
captured on video.
yes, there's a video of it
Yeah.
on his social media account.
Yep.
By the way, I love Arch Manning. I think he's awesome. Shout out. He's going to be a great lifetime Longhorn. Man, them signatures to be in the first family of football, they got to work on Arch's signature a little bit.
Man.
It ain't.
You don't even understand how vital that conversation is.
That
right
signature
there.
is
You got to remember
weird.
this, Rod.
I don't know.
You got to remember this, Rod. Think about this. These kids today do not have to write like we used to have to write.
I know it.
These kids have no idea. I've been teaching my kids for a long time. Practice your signature. Practice your signature. I used to make my older son, Michael, it was almost like he was in trouble. I need you to sign your name all over this paper 1,000 times. I need you to practice that signature so when you do have to sign something, we will be able to read it.
Well, and it should look the same all the time.
It
so
does not
that, which it
nowadays.
doesn't.
No.
The young kids, they don't practice
they don't
it,
practice
and they don't
enough.
obviously take cursive writing like those old people had to do back in the day.
Yeah.
So it doesn't look the same all the time. So now you be like, oh, your signature with that player looks a little different than this signature. So I'm with you. Especially if you're going to be famous,
Yes.
celebrity like this young man.
You grew up in that family, you need to have a good signature.
Yeah. But right now, the bidding for the 1-of-1 trading card for Arch Manning throwback Prism Black autographed card, $60,000.
Yep. Next bid.
$60,000.
Yeah, and this will run all the way through Saturday night.
Wow.
At 8 o'clock is the last bid, Central Time.
Ooh.
So,
60 G's.
yeah,
That's not
buddy.
surprising.
Yep.
Because you figure if he's successful, then that card will be worth $5-10 million in 10 years.
Yep.
So there's a level where you have to kind of take the. But if you're
There's a
already
level
got,
if you got
gotta
money,
get
if
there.
you got
Yeah.
millions of
60 G's is
dollars, you're like,
nothing.
cool, I'll have the
Yeah.
1-of-1. So
And
I
it's
can
a
always,
write-off because it's going to St. David's.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm
You
saying?
got real money.
Yeah.
No, but then, if it's a write-off, then Drew's
Yeah,
just
let's
like,
all
nah.
do it. Let's do it. Let's pool our money together.
To go back to the
Let me write off an investment real
to
quick.
go back to the Seinfeldian terms, you don't even know what a write-off is. These big companies, they just write it off. What is a write-off? You
Who
don't even know what a
knows?
write-off
Who
is.
knows?
But I'm not the one writing it off. They are, and they know what it
They
is.
know exactly what they're doing. And talking about, somebody just asked, I thought he wasn't going to sign any deals. He's not signing the deal for himself. He's signing the deal to donate to other
Well, I'm sure he
people.
got some money for it.
Of course.
I mean, I'm not. No, I love that it's a charitable, but I'm sure he got some cash for it.
And you
Let's
can
not-
get mad at Sark for saying that he wasn't going to do it, or his family for saying he wasn't going to do it. Arch
But
never
you didn't
said he
talk to
wasn't.
him. That's
Arch never
right.
said he wasn't going to do it. So
Damn right.
I'm a grown man
Like,
now, Dad.
and everybody can stand by. Sark and Granddad can all stand by.
Hey.
Like, no, that's what we said, but he didn't say that.
hey,
He's a grown
my
man.
parents said I wouldn't do a lot of things, and then I left home.
Yeah, exactly. No, hey, man. The circumstances, they do change.
Yep.
And they can always go with, Sark kind of misquoted us on that one. He misheard or
Yep.
something like that. So, not a big deal. I know
I
Sark
think
said
somebody that texts us on the Specs text line, his son works with Panini as well. So he's been getting a lot of autographs, a lot of signatures. So he may be a part of this deal as well.
So Arch Manning, man, he's signing his big NIL deal with Panini America. And right now, the one-of-one trading card bidding is up to $60,000. It'll probably be upwards of $100,000 by the time the deadline hits for the
I
bidding.
was trying to be on it at the very beginning.
Well, just to say you did it.
Yeah, I did it. I put it what you done? Hey, 100.
100. That's all I put on it.
Yeah, I just put a little
We can get
something
you
on
and your crew can get together and y'all can put something on it.
Yeah,
You
we
know what I
could.
mean, as
That
a
could be an
group.
investment.
Maybe.
Yep.
Yeah.
As Patrick said,
Write it off.
Yep.
And you can write it off.
Yeah, they're gonna say for trading cards.
Yeah, you need him to be really good or really bad though.
What,
Because
for-
if he's
for
really
Arch?
good, no, for the money, for it to be an investment, because it's either he's a great quarterback and that first ever card of his is worth tons of money,
Mm-hmm.
or he's the biggest bust in history and his card is worth a lot of money. Those are the two ways it's worth a lot of money, and we really prefer the good one.
Well, I think we all prefer the good one. I don't want to go through the he's the biggest bust in history thing. No, we don't want to go through that one. So we're going to err on the side of optimism. And yes, we believe that it's going to be worth a whole lot of money. And maybe you're getting the deal of a century, getting it for potentially six figures right now to
Come on now.
60 G's.
Come on now.
Okay, Quinn Ewers, he's hoping to get some straight cash home. He signed a lot of NIL deals in his time. Matter of fact, he just had a meet and greet.
Yeah, he did.
Was that earlier this week or last weekend?
I think it was last week.
Last
and he
week?
did a camp. And he did a camp.
did a
Him
camp?
and Jatavian Sanders did a camp
Okay.
over at Westlake.
So he's been busy.
Yep.
Yeah, good for Quinn Ewers, man, putting in the time. So Quinn Ewers is the focus, or he's one of the players who are the focus of this article from 24/7 Sports, where they're projecting the leading passers in the 2023 season. I'll just go down a list here. They go Tulane, Michael Pratt. They got Cameron Ward from Washington State.
Nasty.
You like him?
Oof. Nasty.
Big fan? Okay.
Oh, yeah. You know where he was before? Incarnate Word.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah. He was under that the Zach Morris. I wanted to call him Zach Morris. Coach Morris, Eric Morris. And he
you're
had left
right.
when he was, because Coach Morris went there before he took the North Texas job.
Oh, nice little tidbit there. Okay.
Yeah.
Jordan Travis from Florida State getting a lot of love. They got Dylan Gabriel in here from Oklahoma, which no surprise. Bo Nix from Oregon. Kyle McCord from Ohio State. And Quinn Ewers from Texas.
Yup.
Quinn Ewers should be one of the top. Are we
Agreed.
expecting him to be top 20? That's basically what they're saying here. He's going to be a
Yes.
top 20
Yes.
passer in the country
Yes.
next season.
I 1,000% believe that.
They got your boy Frank Harris on here, of course.
Man.
Will Rogers from Mississippi State's on here. Drake May, of course. Caleb Williams, he's the top guy. They also have Austin Reed from Western Kentucky because they like to light it up. And somebody we saw, Michael Penix Jr.
Who was one of
from
the best
Washington.
quarterbacks.
He
yeah.
is, man. He's
Lefty,
legit.
too.
I like him.
Yeah.
But Quinn Ewers, getting back to him, I saw this at BetMGM. And, we're not the only ones who are really high on Quinn Ewers right now. And maybe this is just Longhorn fans drinking the Kool-Aid, getting just, wasted.
Yeah.
All right, on the burnt orange Kool-Aid this offseason because the hype train is probably at an all-time high. It's speeding down the tracks with no brakes at all and no excuses.
Yep.
But the MGM, their Heisman odds I've been keeping up with them,
Yep.
and Quinn Ewers is still top 3 in their Heisman odds right now. For if you go look at BetMGM, they got Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels, and Quinn Ewers. Plus 500 for Caleb Williams, plus 900 for Jaden Daniels. That's not the Kansas quarterback. That's the LSU quarterback. And Quinn Ewers at plus 1,100. But if you go look at highest handle percentage, which is basically the most money bet on a particular most money wagered on a particular bet, I should say, Quinn Ewers has the most or the highest handle percentage at 10.3% over any Heisman candidate or Heisman favorite listed on their odds. He has the highest handle percentage, which means more people are betting on Quinn Ewers to win the Heisman than any other player at BetMGM.
Yeah. I mean, if you always got to look at what's your best wager, like where's your best return. And Quinn Ewers being somebody, what did we say before? One site had him at plus 2,000 or something like that. So you always want to look at where you're going to win the most money. And not only drinking the Kool-Aid, you also got to be able to say, all right, are they really going to be able to be that good? Is he going to be able to put up those numbers? And we've talked about it. I think he is going to be able to put up those numbers. I'm looking for some exciting times on the 40 acres with him at the quarterback position. I wouldn't like that last year. Remember I told you I wasn't feeling it like that.
No, because he hadn't played football in a long time.
He hadn't played football. Yeah. I'd heard some things about him being able to move around in the pocket and one read, two read. Is he going to be able to make the read? And now I'm like, he's put in the work. You can see it. You can see the work physically on his body on what he decided to do.
Yeah.
So that shows me that he's serious. And, again, contract year. He's eligible for the draft this year. Okay. Contract year.
No, I'm glad he's working his body. Hopefully working the footwork.
Yeah, I'm already on that.
The footwork is what needs to work, and I do believe he's going to improve on that. But do we think he's going to be a Heisman finalist? That's kind of what that BetMGM nugget I gave you is saying, that some people believe he's going to be a Heisman finalist.
I'll put him in there. I'll risk it. Hey, man, no risk it, no biscuit. I'm putting it out there. I can't get that. The only way I'm going to get that Arch Manning card is if I put that risk out there. And I got to put that risk out there.
Well, first thing he's got to do is play an entire season, which he hasn't done since like his sophomore year of high school. So first things first.
Yeah.
Just play every game, and then we'll see where we are at the end of the season with Quinn Ewers. All right, we'll get to some more college football conversation in the 6 o'clock. What you got coming up for the people on Harsh Knock Live?
I want to have a little fun. I want to talk about some of these Major League Baseball injuries that have happened throughout time. And some of them I'm going to go Texas Rangers, and I'm going to go Houston Astros and let you know a little bit about them. And Atlanta Braves, of course.
Yeah. I like that. All right, we'll have some fun talking about baseball injuries, making fun of some of the best athletes on the planet. All that and more right here on Ball Don't Lie, 104.9 The Horn.
Mike Harge here, and I want to talk to you about my friends over at The League. Go to LeagueKitchenandTavern.com to find out more details. It's chef-inspired comfort food with 4 area locations in Avery Ranch, Bee Cave, Belterra, and Lakeway. And it's Austin-owned and operated. Whether you dine in or pick up, lunch or dinner, The League offers fresh chef specials for the month of July for you. And it's whether you want to do that with your friends, go to happy hour. Yesterday, you could have went over there and had 2-for-1 burgers. There's always something that you can enjoy. And speaking of that burger, the pineapple teriyaki burger is the burger of the month. And if you're thirsty, which a lot of us are, you can try the Jungle Bird drink, which is their feature for the month. There's also the teriyaki glazed pork chop. Pork chops are always one of my favorites, or the Kona fish tacos. Whether you want lunch or dinner, dine in or pick up, the League Kitchen and Tavern have something special for you. For more details of monthly specials, and you can make reservations or just check out the menu, go to LeagueKitchen.com. That is LeagueKitchen.com. Welcome back to the Top of the Chart Tuesday edition of Ball Don't Lie. It's your boy Hardball Harge, and my man Patrick Davis has been killing it with his Top of the Chart music today. Got me ready to do a dance, and it's mostly a slow groove that he's been giving us back-to-back days. So continue the great work, my man PD, Patrick Davis. It's your boy Hardball Harge. You can hit me on Twitter at Hardball Harge. You can hit my man Rob Babers at Rob Babers. And, of course, you can follow the man behind the glass at It's Patrick Davis. We also love it when you're a part of the show, and thank you for all the kind words and checking in on us and making sure y'all are still engaged on the Specs text line, 512-337-3776. So we had this conversation yesterday about Nyheim Hines, who ended up getting hurt on a jet ski.
Yeah, man.
And Rod, you and I both have played at the professional level, and there's always clauses in your contract about doing extreme things. There was no skiing, there was no waterboarding, you couldn't do any of those things. They didn't even really want you riding motorcycles. They didn't want you riding dirt bikes. They didn't want you doing any of those types of things, anything that would put you in jeopardy. But during those things is mostly about things that are out of your control. You can control that.
Yes, you
can. But
can.
there are some things that happen to you that are very strange, especially in baseball. Me being around the game for as long as I have, there's been some very strange injuries that have happened away from the field, not necessarily on the field. People are always trying to do different things, and sometimes things that you don't think are going to hurt you, they end up hurting you. Like picking up your kid sometimes. If you pick up your kid and you don't do it the right way, some people have strained their back by playing with their dogs, tripping over animals,
That is true.
and
Animals,
doing so many
pets
things.
will get you hurt, though. That's true. Yeah.
There's a lot that always go into it. But there's this book out here, my man Dave Berger. It's called Take Me Out to the Ball Game. So go check it out. Make yourself an order. And I'm not doing any endorsements for him, but I have interviewed this young man, and he has given me one of his books. And I've always thought it was funny because of all the injuries that have always happened. I heard Craig Way and them talking about it, and I even heard Jeff Howell with them, and I also heard Chad and Zay talking about it. So there's an injury book out there, and there's so many different types. I want to highlight a couple of these.
Okay.
One of them is Elvis Andrews. You remember Elvis Andrews.
Oh, yeah.
He was a former shortstop for the Texas Rangers, been in the league for a long time. He's done some really good things in this game. But during spring training in 2013, he went and got a tattoo. He spent 9 hours under a needle earlier in the week after getting the large tattoo of his late father on his left shoulder. After being in that, think about it, you're under a needle for 9 hours.
Long time.
He was not allowed to play because he had so much soreness that he wasn't able to participate for 3 days. Now, good thing for him, it was during spring training, so they were able to make the move, but it's still one of those things where you're like, come on, man, you couldn't do that during the offseason?
Right.
You couldn't do that
Come on,
before.
man.
You waited till we got to spring training to be able to do that?
Do we know he didn't do it on purpose? This wasn't intentional?
I don't think he was at that level of being in the big leagues where you can miss that much time, as you can see now.
Okay.
By the way, he's a 2-time All-Star. He is. Oddibe McDowell, my man, played center field for the Texas Rangers, one of the best Texas Rangers that no one ever talks about. Oddibe McDowell was really, really good. But Oddibe McDowell got hurt one time in the clubhouse cutting biscuits. Cutting biscuits. And Craig Way actually brought this story up today, talking about the fact that he did it with a supposed butter knife, but he split his middle finger, requiring 8 stitches for it to close. And I really hope that Oddibe McDowell loved that biscuit. Then you think about some of the other names that are out there, and I've played with some of these guys. Matter of fact, you got a chance to listen to one of the players last night. It was Jeff Blum. He is the voice. He's the color analyst for the Houston Astros.
Go Astros. Former
Teammate of mine. He played with the Montreal Expos, Houston, Tampa, bunch of teams in the big leagues. Won the World Series in 2005. He got hurt because he was trying to put on his shirt after the game that caused him to miss the rest of the season. Yes.
I remember this.
He injured his elbow while putting on his shirt. How about that? One Nolan Ryan. How tough is Nolan Ryan? We know how tough Nolan Ryan is.
I don't call it pain. I call it discomfort.
Discomfort.
Oh,
He's the one that when Robin Ventura decided he wanted to charge the old man, he let him know this is not what you want. This is not the smoke. Well, in 1985, while in Alvin, Texas, he went out to his dog pen to tend to him, only to be greeted by two wild coyote pups. He took the pups home with him, only to have one of them bite him on his pitching hand. Ryan had several tests done, but he did not have rabies. By the way, he ended up getting rid of the coyote pups.
Yeah. Did he think they were dogs, or did he know they were coyotes?
I think, Nolan Ryan probably knew they were coyotes.
Oh, man.
Yeah, it's one of those situations where you're like, did he really, really do that?
That is crazy.
Our man Roger Clemens. Watch that finger, Roger. That's what the title of this was. After grabbing some grub, Roger Clemens came across an injured terrier that was laying on the side of the road. Clemens got out of his car to help the dog, only to have it bite him on his right thumb. This prompted him a trip to the ER to get a tetanus shot. Didn't get a chance to play after that because he had to sit out for some time doing that.
What is going on? What year was that?
That was I think it was 83. Let me see.
Okay.
Let me make sure. No, it was 1993. 1993.
Okay.
All right, here's another one. One of my good friends, Denny Hocking. He played shortstop. He was in the big leagues with Minnesota. He actually coaches now with Team USA. He's one of those coaches. This happened, he said, watch where you celebrate. After making the final out of the Division Series game against Oakland, Hocking was right in the dog pile with his teammates. While he was on the dog pile, he got spiked by one of his teammates, splitting his nail in two places. Because of that, he went on to miss the ALCS. Only time you get a chance to go play at the big time, and this is what happens to you.
That's crazy.
Very, very interesting story. One of my good friends, and I reached out to him the other day. We was going to try to get him on the show. Another guy that is known in these parts is Steve Sparks. He's also does radio for the Houston Astros. He's a knuckleballer too, by the way. Pitched in the big leagues for quite some time. He was at a meeting in 1994. He was at a group called Radical Reality. And what they were, the guys that were part of making you feel strong. They were motivational guys. They were always trying to do that. So they used to rip phone books. It was that group that used to do stuff on TV. Yeah. So he was full of energy, and Sparks did what any excited player would want to do and had his teammates going. He tried to rip the phone book.
Oh, no.
Unfortunately, during that time, he dislocated his left shoulder trying to move that around.
Oh, man.
Yeah. Carlos Zambrano, who was a big-time pitcher in the Major League Baseball, Chicago Cubs, Miami Marlins, big guy, Big Z. He was a tough guy at the plate as well because he was always tough. He picked up the phone to call a friend, right?
Oh, man.
So all for staying in touch with your family, but Zambrano credited the ceiling of expectations like Paul the Apostle could only live up to. As the story goes, Big Z was emailing his brother 4 hours a day. They were on the phone all the time. They were texting and going back and forth.
Man, they're really close.
Yeah, very much so. They couldn't pick up the phone to call. So most of the time, whenever he ended up doing the texting, emailing, he experienced elbow soreness. So he was not even able to play in the game.
Because of elbow soreness?
Because of
from using the telephone too much?
Exactly.
Wow.
If it doesn't fit, you must quit. Man. This is my man Richie Sexton. He was a big, tall first baseman, played in the big leagues for a long time too. Sexton missed the Brewers inter-squad game with a strained neck that he suffered while he was adjusting his cap during a photo shoot for the team. So you're sitting there and you're thinking about this and you're like, wait a minute, dude is doing that? Yeah. Bobby Ojeda, left-handed pitcher, pitched in the big leagues with the New York Mets. He was doing the honeydew list and they went astray. So he went out to do some stuff with his wife, to ask his wife. His wife wanted him to cut the honeysuckle bushes, and they needed trimming. Well, during that time, he went out there. While he was trimming, the electric clipper nearly severed off the top part of his left middle finger. He had to have surgery, Oh, yeah. And by the way, he missed the postseason, and the Mets ended up losing to the Dodgers. By the way, he was left-handed, too. So that's what everybody – he always finishes that off by saying, oh, yeah, he was left-handed. So one more.
Wow.
These are all those stories that we keep talking about. We've been hearing so many things about some of these guys that aren't able to play for different reasons. Here's my favorite one. Salvador Perez, he's still the catcher for the Kansas City Royals. He's going to go into the Kansas City Royals Hall of Fame. He is one of their all-time greatest players. Well, during spring training, again, he ended up he sprained his left knee, his middle collateral, while picking and carrying a suitcase up the stairs at home. And that is how he injured his knee. And he was out 4 weeks because of this injury, trying to be able to do that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. I got a serious question.
Come on.
Now, how much of this, because these injuries, there are sometimes very bizarre injuries that happen in sports, but the frequency of these injuries in baseball,
depending on who they are.
Yes, there seems to be more of these stories in baseball, and like I said, frequency of them. Every year we hear crazy injuries in baseball, just strange ones.
Yep. We got a lot of idle time, bro.
Yes, this is kind of my question I'm getting to. Is it just the guys who are exaggerating these stories to get out of playing games because the season is so long? Is it because baseball players, the culture of it is that some of these guys are just not in great shape and they get easily hurt?
No.
Is it just the culture of it that they got a lot of time on their hands, so they're doing a lot of stupid stuff when a lot of the other players, based in terms of basketball and football, they don't have this much time, or at least they don't, I don't know. They don't have the time that the baseball players have where they use it in terms of doing, or at least some of these activities that would endanger them or somehow put them in harm's way.
Well, they try not to.
Why?
I mean, it's just certain things that happen that you're not prepared for.
It's just in other sports they don't report stupid injuries like this. You just deal with it.
Because the baseball players are playing every day, and there's different times for you guys, right?
I think it's that their players union is so strong that they actually can say stuff like this. If the NFL player ever went into a front office and went, dude, I was taking a suitcase upstairs, broke my back a little bit. You not only get mocked and laughed at, you'd probably get cut unless you were a big-time player with a big-time contract. And then they would just assume you're joking.
Right.
Well, they do always have a couple of them that come out like every couple of years of somebody's like, no, I was just doing this really simple thing and I hurt myself. And what an idiot. And they're like, what were you really doing? He's like, I was riding a jet ski in in an above-ground pool, and I tried to jump it onto my motorcycle and Evel Knieveled over a bridge, and I ended up breaking my leg. Like, okay, yeah, you can't do any of that. You're breaching contract.
Yeah, like Ben Roethlisberger, I think, had an injury like that one time. It's like a motorcycle or somewhere like that. It's just that, is it a combination of all those things?
It's a little bit of everything.
It's crazy.
Yeah, because they're always doing some crazy stuff.
They're doing the weirdest thing,
you've been in locker
things.
rooms where people are kind of different and do things differently.
Baseball got more different guys?
Yeah, I think we have quite a few. Because of the things that we just talked about, there's a lot of time in between. And some people aren't playing every day anyway.
No.
You may not be an everyday player, so you got more time to be advantageous about other things and very adventurous.
I just don't
about
understand.
everything.
Yeah, you're right. It's got to be something.
So I do want to tell you this. One of my teammates was Carlos Perez, left-handed pitcher. He had a self-inflicted broken nose. Apparently, he lost control of the car and struck a lamppost right outside Olympic Stadium.
Oh, that's serious.
While he was trying to pass the team bus. He was trying to leave and go in front of him.
Why?
Because Carlos was different than anybody else. You've seen the video of him beating up the water cooler in the dugout when he was with the Dodgers. So here's another one. His brother, Pascual Perez, he ended up missing the game because he had just received his license and he was trying to find the stadium. He spent 2 hours driving around the stadium because he didn't know where the exit was to be able to get off at the stadium. Just kept driving in circles. He drove for 2 hours. They call his nickname is now Wrong Way Perez. Yeah.
I like Wrong Way Perez.
There's a bunch of guys that got injuries from sneezing. They've pulled rib cages. You've heard that before. There's been a lot of people that have done that. Rib cages, man.
But they just have these injuries that just kind of the gen pop have, like we would have just as normal citizens.
They want you to know that.
Elite
normal
athletes
people.
don't really have those
They're
types of
normal people,
injuries.
too.
And also, maybe basketball has the same issues because it's an 82-game season and guys get tired of playing. And maybe they just describe it as load management. I don't know.
Maybe.
And maybe because baseball players, I don't know, because some of these injuries are the younger guys too. I was going to say because they can play, when they're a little bit older.
Yep.
Instead of playing kind of past their prime in some other sports. But I don't know if that matters as much either.
It really don't. Because remember, JPP blew his hand off with the fireworks.
Yeah, that was that was pretty stupid.
Yeah.
But that's like I
Plaxico
said,
Burress shot himself.
who did?
Yeah, Plaxico
Plaxico
Burress
Burress.
shot
But those are
himself.
few. You guys are naming the most famous examples
Yeah.
in the NFL that have ever happened.
And that's because
You-
they happened outside
They're
where
few
they had
and
to
far
go to the
between,
hospital.
and the baseball ones. I mean, there's a book written about
There's
these
a
damn
book.
types of injuries,
Yeah.
and the Spec Text line is littered with tons of these little injuries because every baseball franchise has these weird injuries. I remember, was it Carlos Correa was giving him a massage,
Yeah.
and
Yep.
he got hurt because he got a massage,
Yep.
deep tissue massage. It was
But
like,
again, that might be something that he's
that's what I'm saying.
saying.
Again, it's like-
He
it's
may
a-
be
it's
saying
a
he got that.
combination of a lot of different
We know
things, but
we know there's some problems with massages in Houston.
That's why he's now playing in Minnesota.
All right.
And the other one is playing in Cleveland.
all right.
I'm just saying, keep the Rockets away from the massage party. That's all I'm saying.
Just from Deshaun Watson's
Yeah.
massage suggestions and references and referrals. We don't want that. All right, yeah. So that's that book. What's the name of that book again?
It's called Take Me Out to the Ball Game, Comical and Freakish Injuries We Cannot Make Up. It's by my man Dave Berger.
And you know what year that come out?
That it's still not, he ain't even adjusted it yet. Let me
It's gonna
see.
that'll be a part 2.
I think he's already started it.
You have to.
Yeah.
Because they just get more and more bizarre. They get weirder and weirder. Then we have one baseball player that messed his hand up when he had a drone that he was messing with.
It was Trevor Bauer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's in here
Yeah,
too.
that's on the list. Like
Now,
10
that's
things
serious.
that is the
This
most
was in
important thing of his
2020.
life.
Yeah, you're right.
This was in 2020, Rob.
Okay, so he's got to
2020.
update that
Yeah,
thing. I
yeah.
mean, I guess he can wait another 3-4 years, but there'll be a bunch of them.
Mike Capps wrote in here. He did some things because he's been around the game for so long. My buddy Ryan Chose, he's been here. Stories of the superhumans that are become very human, entertaining at the last.
Yeah,
No.
that's right. The listener didn't know that. But when the Grammaticus hurt themselves jumping
Yep,
up
the
and down,
Grammatica
celebrating.
jumping up and
Yes.
down.
Solid.
That's always like especially embarrassing and shameful when you're celebrating and then you hurt yourself
When
celebrating.
you just land and just body go, your leg goes out from under you. Good stuff.
Yeah, that's a trust. Yeah, but you're right. And they're happening in every sport. You guys just named a few examples, but there's no way anybody's as close to baseball when it comes to
No.
the most bizarre, strangest, weirdest injuries.
No doubt.
All right, we'll come back. Good stuff there, Harge. We'll come back. We'll get into some off the record, tons of stories in off the record, including Aaron Hernandez, kinfolk in the news for all the wrong reasons. We'll talk about that. Also, we'll get into some of the other big stories of the day right here on Ball Don't Lie. I want to put on the horn. All right, welcome back to Ball Don't Lie right here on 104.9 The Horn. A couple of stories I want to get to here and off the record. The first, unfortunately, is about the Hernandez family, one Aaron Hernandez's family. According to TMZ, Aaron Hernandez's brother was arrested after allegedly planning school shootings. They say plural here, shootings. The older brother, Aaron Hernandez, has been arrested again. This time, cops say there was concern he had been planning school shootings at UConn and Brown University. The disturbing allegations are spelled out in the new Bristol Police Department documents, where cops say DJ showed signs this month of being gravely disabled and a danger to society.
Man, that seems to be a danger to society, and
dark.
that's what he was thinking.
That is dark, man. Obviously, his family is connected to a lot of darkness with Aaron Hernandez, but the arrest marks the fourth time in the last few months that he's been in trouble with the law. They said back in March he was arrested after cops say he led them on a wild car chase. Days later, he was arrested again. Why is he out?
Exactly.
Sorry.
You're real about that.
I'm just like, sorry. I was reading real time. I'm like, hold on. So he led him on a wild car chase. So he led police on a car chase and then got out days later and was arrested again for allegedly throwing a bag that contained a brick and a handwritten note at ESPN's campus.
ESPN's campus.
And then earlier this
Bristol.
month, he was arrested for missing a court date in the same case. So he's been arrested a lot just in this year alone. He's been arrested like 3-4 times. So.
And did you see his smile? Did you see his mugshot picture?
Yeah, he's got some. I think it's pretty obvious he's got some mental issues of some kind.
He's looking through you. He's not looking at the camera.
Yeah, it's pretty obvious. He's got some mental issues going on.
Yep.
So, yeah, that's extremely disturbing. Something else that is not disturbing but fascinating. You brought this to my attention. Jim Irsay?
Mm-hmm. Jim Irsay is something else, man.
So there was a rumor going around apparently about Jim Irsay, and he was bringing up some stuff about Houdini. Apparently, this is from Jim Irsay's Twitter account.
Oh yeah.
So he says, yes, the rumor is true that the Houdini of our time, the amazing Vegas magician Chris Angel, will join the show on September 8th. He says, break Houdini's record of 150-foot free fall. Tied up and chained in Lucas Oil Stadium for a one-time performance, September 8th.
That's saying a lot.
At 8:15 in Indianapolis. More details to come for free show. For free show. What? For free? Sign up now for your ticket. What? More details to come for free show.
And think about what he said about one time.
Wow.
Bruh.
Okay.
You're going to be chained up and doing a 150-foot free fall? Yeah, you definitely doing that one time.
Man,
Chris Angel.
Man, this is your AFC South, people. We got the Titans picking a fight with the Texans.
Wearing the lovely blue uniforms.
Yeah.
The Texans don't even have a first-round pick next year, but they still seem like they should be not good. And then
and Jacksonville
the Colts
just
are
laughing.
the Colts are like, pay no attention to the team behind the curtain. Here's a man falling out the sky.
Man.
Yeah.
Oh, the Houdini of our is Chris Angel the Houdini of our time?
No.
I don't keep up with a lot of magicians. I know there are some good ones out there. Chris Angel is one. He had a show at one time, so he's a very accomplished magician.
If he is, then it makes me think a lot less of Houdini.
Or a lot less of magicians of our time.
That's what I'm saying. If he's the Houdini of our time, I don't.
Houdini did die, and it wasn't a stump, but didn't he get like punched in the stomach or something? Was that
Yeah,
Houdini?
it was. He had a thing where he
would allow people to come punch him in the stomach.
Yeah,
he could take
but he would have to be ready for it.
He could absorb
and
any
It was
hit.
a guy punched him when he wasn't ready.
The guy sucker punched him.
Yeah,
and Houdini basically died as a
Yeah.
result of it, an a-hole sucker punching him.
Yeah, I always love the Houdini thing that he was a big skeptic about mediums and like that, and so he told his wife a keyword that like a phrase that he would say if he ever visited her during like a seance or something. And so she would go around to all these people, and then they'd be like, "We're talking to him now." And then they'd be like, "What does he say?" And he'd say this, and be like, "Nope, you're not talking to him."
What was the
She never
secret,
said it because it was a whole.
Oh,
If she said it, then someone could lie.
that's good.
But that was the whole point. Was that apparently there was a key phrase. I always like that.
Okay, I like that. That is good. I'm gonna tell my wife that. All right, if I'm coming back to haunt you, baby, I'm gonna use this word. What should the word be? That's the thing about it. Probably be something, some little freaky. So then, she would know. Still thinking about
Yeah,
you.
when the
in that
person goes, I don't feel comfortable saying this. You're like, yeah.
Someone say y'all disrespecting Chris Angel. That guy's actually done some incredible stuff. I definitely put him up there with Houdini. All right.
It's just not everybody's cup of tea. For my cup of tea, I don't care for it. But if you love it, have fun. with Chris Angel.
I do like Chris Angel because I like the street magician thing. I like because he did a lot of that where he would just kind of go on the street and do crazy stuff right there in front of people.
Yeah.
And
can do that. But I don't know about the falling from the sky at 150 feet, wrapped up and trying to get out of that. That's the thing
that's a good point. But that's all, to me, that's all kind of performance art and then how the cameras are situated and all that.
Oh, sure.
I like when you go on the street with people that it seems like, and I would assume like that reality TV, that they're just regular citizens and you can go use their different whatever products that they have or stuff that they're wearing or just use them in general as part of the act.
Yeah.
Like, that is kind of cool. And Chris Angel does a lot of stuff like that. So anyway, we'll get back to some more off the record stuff in the 5 o'clock. We come back. We'll talk. Actually, we're going to give our Super Bowl predictions. We're going to give everything.
Okay.
We'll give you division winners. We're going to talk playoffs. We're going to win the playoffs. And we'll give you our Super Bowl picks. We're going to do all that coming up next segment. All that and more right here on Ball Don't Lie 104.9 The Horn. Hey, what's up, folks? Lifetime Longhorn, Rod Babers here. Let's talk about our friends over at Ironworkers Local Union 482. We always talk about how beautiful the Austin skyline is, how beautiful the city is. Well, part of the unique aesthetic appeal is thanks in no small part to the skilled craftsmanship of Ironworkers Local 482. They've been helping shape Greater Austin since 1935. And as the city continues to grow and thrive, so does Ironworkers Local Union 482. You see the labors of their love all over this great city in iconic, exquisite landmarks like DKR Stadium and the Pennybacker Bridge. And as our city continues to grow, like I said, so does Ironworkers Local Union 482. They don't go to the office, they build it. So if you're looking for an exciting new career and you want something new, something fresh, something that will challenge you, you can become a valued member of this prestigious organization, Ironworkers Local 482, and accept the challenge of becoming the best version of yourself while helping shape Austin's economic development. And right now, they're hiring over 3,000 people for a huge project right here in Central Texas. And you can become a valued member of Ironworkers Local 482 and take pride in the type of teamwork and craftsmanship that helps shape the future of our great city. So maximize your potential and be your best self today. Simply apply at ironworkers482.org. That's ironworkers482.org. Welcome back to Ball Don't Lie right here on 104 Now The Horn. Top of the charts Tuesday. That's when Patrick the Idillionaire takes jams that reached the top of the Billboard charts on this day in history. And my man Harge has been giddy all day about these selections.
That's right.
And you're just giddy about this one?
Oh, yeah, this is Billy Joel, ain't it?
Billy Joel.
Yeah.
All right. See, Harge has been giddy about the selection so far.
'Cause this is where number one hits, top of the charts. So you always know them songs.
That is
Still
true.
rock and roll to me.
That is true. All right, so top of the charts Tuesday. You can be a part of the show. Specs Text Line's the best way to do it, 512-337-3776. You also can hit us up via Twitter. Harge is at Hardball Harge in the Twitterverse. Patrick Davis, the real MVP, at It's Patrick Davis in Twitterverse. And I'm at Rod Babers in the Twitterverse. Two big NFL topics we'll get to in the 5 o'clock. We'll get to Trevon Diggs signing his new deal. If we don't get to it here at the end of our predictions and projections and prognostications, we'll get to it in Roger of the Day. Also, the Saquon Barkley deal, signing a 1-year deal. So he did get some straight cash, homie, but not the cash that he wanted. Not the bag that he wanted, I should say. All right, gentlemen, since this is going to be, one of our last shows, our last show is going to be next Tuesday, so you got a week of a countdown. I thought it appropriate to get our NFL predictions out there. To get them out there on the record, considering the 27 teams who are officially reporting to training camp today. So that makes it official that football season is upon us. And with the NFL season at least starting to kick in here in July, late July, and then we'll be heading into August here and starting training camps, I thought it'd be appropriate to pick our division winners, then pick our playoff teams, and then pick our conference championship matchups, then pick our Super Bowl matchups. All right. So y'all want to go division by division, or you want to go?
Let's go.
How you want to go division by division?
Yeah.
Let's start in the AFC.
Yep.
I think AFC will probably be more difficult. Let's start with what I think is the most difficult division to predict. So I think it'll take more of our conversation here will be dedicated to the AFC East.
Okay.
Because I do think we all end up picking different teams in the AFC East, too. Like, that's how competitive that division is going to be. So, AFC East, I'll go first. I think Miami's going to win the division. I'm going to pick Miami. I love what they did. They added Vic Fangio, one of the best DCs out there. They added Jalen Ramsey, one of the best defenders and DBs out there. And Tua's stats last season, first year in that Mike McDaniels offense, highest passer rating on 20-plus yard throws in the league, number 1 in yards per attempt, number 2 in first down rate, number 2 in passer rating, number 3 in touchdown percentage, number 4 in red zone success rate, number 5 in success rate alone. I just think that with Miami and the improvements they're made, I'm a Mike McDaniels guy. Now he's got a defensive counterpart as a coordinator. I'll take Miami. Arch?
Pete, okay. I'm going to go with the New York Jets. I am going to take the Jets. I think this is probably, like you said, this is going to be the most competitive division, I think, in football this year, just because of the things that you just said for the entertainment value of Miami. Buffalo is the reigning champs. They are the ones that went 13-3 and pretty much owned that division. I still don't know exactly what's going to happen with the New England Patriots. Do we start looking at Bill Belichick a little bit different since he doesn't have Tom Brady? We've been giving him a little leeway here and there. Brought in Bill O'Brien. But I think the move with Aaron Rodgers, as much as I am not a teammate fan of Aaron Rodgers, he seems to have turned over a new leaf. One of the biggest things I kept saying is if Aaron Rodgers shows up to camp early and spends some time with these players when he signed, I think it was going to make a huge, huge difference. Not only is he doing well with the offensive side of the ball, him and Sauce Gardner are like best friends now. You know what I'm saying? They seem to be hanging out more than what he was doing with his offensive linemen in Green Bay. So as much as it hurts me to say this, because I'm with you on the Miami Dolphins and the improvements in the defensive side of the ball on what they did, I got to go with the Jets. I'm not like Greenberg. I'm not like Mike Green.
You're not all in.
I'm not wearing a shirt every day talking about go Jets. But I do like the movements that they made, and that defense has gotten a lot better as well too.
Yeah, I mean, I love Miami, but I don't know about Tua's health, and I can't pick him until I feel that Tua's going to play most of the season. I think he's going to miss at least multiple. Like he's going to miss 5 or 6 games this year.
He got some junk in the trunk now, man. Come on.
I get that. I don't care about it. And look, he could be full. If his head gets anywhere near the ground or another player, that is where the worry is.
That's fair.
And so until I see him play a full season, I'm going to hold out on Tua being able to stay in the game right now.
You don't believe in Mike White?
I think, I think he'll be fine. I think they're going to lose some games. I think the Jets are going to be really good. I think they'll be better at the end of the season. It's going to be some growing pains. Buffalo has been there. They've done that. Most of Buffalo's problems I see are coming at the end of the season and getting over that hump. I think they'll be fine during the regular season. They have a lot of good talent on that team. Josh Allen regressed some last year, but I don't think he's going to continue to regress that far. So I like Buffalo to win the division. Once it gets to the playoffs, maybe a different story. But to win the division, have the most wins in the regular season out of that division, I like Buffalo.
Yeah, I am going to count on Buffalo continue to regress with Brian Daboll out. But you're right.
Yeah.
Regular season, they might be okay. But Super Bowl, I would not pick Buffalo.
No, I wouldn't either. But if we're saying who we think has the highest ceiling, it's not Buffalo. But if we say it's a 13-3 team last year, I think you win this division at 12-4.
Yeah.
You can win it there. So
I thought we'd all be different on that one. We are. Everybody's got a different team winning the AFC East. That'll easily be the most competitive division in all of football. Okay, so let's go to AFC North, gentlemen. My favorite is Cincinnati. Now, I do think Baltimore is going to be much improved. I do. I think Baltimore's going to be much improved, but I'll take Cincinnati just because Lou Anarumo, their defensive coordinator, man, he in the playoffs, there's no better DC in the league.
Right.
Than him the last couple of years. And Cincinnati, Joe Burrow, you can make the argument, second best quarterback in the league behind Patrick Mahomes. And Joe Burrow has not regressed, and I don't think he's going to regress this season too. I'll take Cincinnati to win division, but, man, I could see it being close with Baltimore. I love what Baltimore is doing now. Lamar Jackson, a new system, bank on it. He's going to get back to his MVP-ish ways. I can tell you that right now. He's going to be in that conversation potentially.
Ding, 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 ding. That's where I'm at. And this is another one of those situations where he got his bag, but he has that chip on his shoulder. He thinks people are doubting his skill. He knows what he's been up against. He knows that they finally decided, hey, even though it's an older OBJ, OBJ is still OBJ with the name. And then you go and get Zay Flowers. You got Mark Andrews as your tight end. You have enough weapons. You still don't know what your running back situation is going to be.
You got good running backs.
But J.K. Dobbins, but he's got to get healthy.
Yeah.
And now with the new offense, I still believe that he is going to be in the MVP hunt. And I'm rolling with Baltimore Ravens. Last year they were 10-7, and they still weren't playing at a very, very high level.
Defense collapsed on them late. Injuries to Lamar. No, I'm with that. I was torn on that one. I was really torn. I could have went. I could easily have gone Baltimore.
And I could have easily have went Cincinnati just because of the history.
And I'll tell you, I think Baltimore next season, I have a little bit more faith that they'll keep building, and Todd Monken will get that.
With the system.
But I think the system could take a while to get in there, and even if it takes 6 weeks and they go 3-3 in the first 6 weeks and then pick it up, Cincinnati's going to run away with that division then. If you spot them a few wins or spot them a few losses early in the season, Cincinnati's just really good. And again, Cincinnati's going to start paying people. And when they start paying people, that's the question of then Cincinnati's window starts to close a little bit. So I think their trajectories are going to, possibly different ways right now, but this season I'd still take Cincinnati.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. That's a good point about maybe next season. But I will say Lamar Jackson did win the MVP first season with Greg Roman.
Yeah.
And then he likes Todd Monken's system. He said basically they're going to absolutely, this is Lamar Jackson's word, absolutely be throwing more and running less. Yeah. Absolutely. And then Todd Monken says we're going back to his Louisville days. We're going to spread them out, and then it's going to be pro-style passing game. But if you don't account for Lamar, then good luck.
Yep.
So we'll see, because he also says Lamar's going to be able to change all the plays. Lamar can change anything. He's got full authority over the offense for the first time ever. I'm with you. I'm really excited for Lamar. Yeah. Okay, that's the AFC.
Wait, who'd you pick, Patrick?
He picked.
I picked Cincinnati.
Okay.
Look, I love the Steelers, and I love Tomlin. I love Mike Tomlin, but like that division's really good, and I'm not picking Deshaun either.
I'm not picking. Somebody said, "What about Cleveland?" I think Cleveland's got a lot of talent. I just don't trust the Browns.
How can you pick them above Cincinnati
and Baltimore?
Yeah, how can you pick them above
Pittsburgh?
And Pittsburgh.
Yeah,
that's true.
Like I get, you could say Pittsburgh. Look, it's Deshaun versus Kenny Pickett. I can get, you can say that. But other than that, if you go, well, it's Deshaun versus Lamar. Well, Lamar's got an MVP. And Deshaun versus Joe Burrow. Well, Joe Burrow every day of the week.
every day. And I would say this: if Deshaun Watson can get back to the last year he started with the Texans, which was 3 years ago now.
Yeah,
because he missed a year, then missed so if he can get back to year he was like a top 5 quarterback that year. You remember that year, Patrick? You were a Texans fan.
My
at
man
that point.
had a lacerated kidney and was out there
he
riding the bus.
He couldn't even fly.
He had to ride the
he
bus.
had like a punctured lung and stuff, and he's still out there balling out of control. He was a top 5 quarterback. If he gets back to that, then watch out for the Browns.
And they got Amari Cooper.
I was saying, watch out for the Browns. If he gets back to that, dude, the Browns are going to be something to reckon with. They got an elite pass rusher
coach there?
and Myles Garrett, Nick Chubb, Oh, you're right.
Guy.
The offensive coordinator,
That
Zach.
guy.
Is it Zach?
No, he's with Cincinnati.
No.
Taylor, you're thinking of.
I'm thinking O'Connell.
Yeah,
O'Connell.
O'Connell is with Minnesota.
No, you're right.
I'll get his name for you. Hold on one
You're
second.
right. Now I'm mixed up. Yeah, it's the Browns. I apologize.
Stefanski.
Oh, yeah.
Kevin Stefanski.
That's right.
Thank
And by
you
the
very
way,
much.
the fact that we couldn't pull his name outside of his head,
Lets
another
you know
reason why I
everything.
am not picking them to win this division.
I'll admit, not picking the Browns.
Yeah.
AFC South, gentlemen, this should be a little bit easier. I'm taking the Jags. That's
done.
It's
Jags.
not even. To me, it's not even close. They're gonna run away with that division.
Once again, guy falling out of the ceiling, trying to pick a fight with the second worst team in the league last year and the second worst team in the league last year, or Trevor Lawrence and that really good lineup. They get Calvin Ridley back. Evan Ingram just signed over there.
Yeah,
so
and Rod gave us the stat about working with quarterback and coach for the second year. Offensive
Did they
line
bring
coach.
back?
Trevor Lawrence tried to blow up this
They
year.
brought back Ramsey too, right?
No, he's with.
No,
he's with.
Ramsey is with Miami.
Yeah, right. Sorry.
Yeah. They do bring back great weapons. though. We all talk trash on Christian Kirk. Christian Kirk was great
He
in that
balled
offense.
out last year.
And I agree with Patrick. Bringing back Calvin Ridley, if he's been grinding, his gambling suspension, that could be a huge addition for them.
Yep.
All right, so AFC South, Patrick, who'd you going to Jags
Yeah,
to?
Jags,
Okay,
yeah.
all right.
Look,
Gotcha.
I'd love to pick my Texans again, but
Trust me, I'm with you. I think if there's any team that can make a move, it would be the Colts. But we don't know what the quarterback Anthony Richardson. If he just comes out of nowhere like gangbusters, that could be.
Michael Pittman Jr.
wild
plays
card.
better. And, Jonathan Taylor is in that contract year. So does he say, "Hey, man, I need to put myself in a position where you can't not pay me"?
Yeah.
You have that argument. And look, Mike Vrabel's a hell of a coach.
He is. I just don't like their roster.
I don't like the roster at all.
I don't like the
will
roster.
give Mike Vrabel credit, though. He is a hell of a coach that if there is some problem in Jacksonville and 9 wins the division, Tennessee, Mike Vrabel is a guy who maybe can push you to 9 wins.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'll give him that.
Okay, so continuing AFC West, also it's gonna be easy, I'm sure. I mean, I'm going with Kansas City. Anybody
Denver,
want-
baby.
Hey, remember last year when we
Denver?
all
I'm just kidding.
I'm like, really?
Hey, remember last year we all had different teams?
Yep. We're gonna continue. Well,
I
this time
had
we're
the
gonna-
Kansas City Chiefs.
Yep.
I know. Me and Harge were
I
like,
had the Chargers.
I
I'm
ain't
gonna
picking
go
the
with
Raiders again, I'll tell you that
yeah.
much.
Broncos with
Andy Reid
Russell.
owned this division even before he got Mahomes. He owned this. He owned the division with Alex Smith.
Yep.
Yeah.
So with Mahomes, I'm sorry, it's not close. I got all
Chargers
these-
will be better this year.
They will
Denver
be.
will be better this year.
Yeah.
The Raiders will be the same team next year.
Sean Payton, I think, is actually going to make Russell Wilson look like
way
the
better.
Russell Wilson of old. I will say that. But I don't think it's going to be enough. Kansas City's just a monster in that division. All right, jumping to the NFC, guys. Let's start with the NFC East. Why not? Let's start with the with our conversation piece with the Dallas Cowboys, because I'm sure it'll take a little while. Who do you have? I'll let Hard start with this one since it's your Cowboys. Who do you have winning the NFC East this year?
Dallas Cowboys.
Okay.
Dallas Cowboys. No. It's not going to be because of Dak Prescott. It's going to be because of the defense. It's going to be because of Big Mac, Mike McCarthy, over there taking control of the game, running the ball when you need to run the ball. When you want to get your defense fresh, he's going to take care of it. Like my man Clarence Hill said yesterday, you don't need to be running the ball throwing the ball when you're up 10. Late in the game, and you're still out there throwing it. I think they're going to get everything figured out. It's not going to be by much, though. Let's just say that. The Philadelphia Eagles, I'm looking for the Eagles to have a Super Bowl hangover. That's what I want them to have. And I'm looking for the Cowboys to right the ship. Look, they were 12-5 last year. We're acting like this was a terrible football team. Not us, but people are talking trash like it was a terrible football team. They were 12-5 last year. They played good football. They had some ups and downs. They were 8-1 at home. The problem for me is the Cowboys have to be better on the road. They were 4-4 on the road. They have to be better on the road. If they can do that, they're going to put themselves in the right position. So I'm rolling with the Cowboys.
Last repeat NFC East champions
Say it
were
again.
the Philadelphia Eagles in 03 and 04.
There
so
you go.
haven't had a repeat champion in the NFC East in a really long time.
There you go.
Philadelphia won it last year. I'm going with the Cowboys, too. I like the moves they've made. One of the better off seasons I can remember for the Cowboys. This is kind of their version of All In. Acquired Stephon Gilmore and acquired Brandon Cooks via trades. This is a big year for the Cowboys. And as we mentioned, they got a lot of guys, and we'll talk about one of the guys they already paid. A lot of guys up for paydays coming up. CeeDee Lamb is going to be up for a big payday. Micah Parsons going to be up for the biggest payday. Zach Martin wants some money. Everybody's going to want their money. This is the year, if you're the Cowboys, where you got to get past that divisional round, and part of that, that journey is going to be winning that division. So I'll take the Cowboys. I'm drinking at least enough of that Kool-Aid.
They're bringing the Kool-Aid.
Enough of
I can't. If that Kool-Aid has an ice cube of Mike McCarthy, I can't drink it as much.
Wow.
So I'm gonna say the Eagles. I think their grass is gonna be perfect at Lincoln Financial. They got no problems, and they'll look. They're a really good team. They had another good offseason. It's not anything that controversial. They'll both be good teams, Dallas and Eagles. I just think Eagles. Jalen Hurts is going to continue to grow. I picked the Eagles.
He got paid.
I agree with you on that. It's a big year for Dak, though, because Dak should try to be the best quarterback in the NFC this year. If he can't be the best quarterback in the NFC this year, then he's destined to just be a quarterback.
He needs to be the best quarterback in the NFC East first, and he's not that right now.
Well, I agree with that. I'm with you. Like I said, I think he was getting the claim of being the best quarterback in the NFC East prior to Jalen Hurts' ascent.
Yep.
Last season. People were like, no, he's definitely the best quarterback in that division. And now he's not even that. And now you don't have Aaron Rodgers in the NFC anymore. You go look at the NFC's, look at the hierarchy of quarterbacks in the NFC. Jalen Hurts is your top guy. But after that is Jared Goff. Nothing against Jared Goff, but Jared Goff has had, he's had his struggles in his career, but he's playing really well right now in that system. Matt Stafford, who's aging and getting older out there with L.A. And then you're talking about guys like Kirk Cousins.
And Derek Carr.
And Daniel Jones and Derek Carr. Dak this should be a big year for Dak to put himself in the conversation to be the best quarterback, as Patrick mentioned, not only in the division, but in the NFC overall. If he can do that, then we're talking about the Cowboys potentially being a number one seed in the NFC. Mm-hmm. Like if you win the NFC East, that's what you're talking about here. Because
that's what we do, man.
The NFC North and the NFC South, we'll get to them here. The NFC North, gentlemen, I'm going to take the Detroit Lions for the hell of it.
Come on.
I'm doing it.
So am I.
Why not?
I'm already taking them.
I'm taking them, dog.
Why are we not? We're all taking Detroit, right?
I'm taking Detroit. Top 5 offense.
We like Minnesota's regressing this year, right?
I don't know if they are. I think they're going to be in the mix.
You watch quarterbacks. That's why
I'm telling you, if you watch it too, if you watch it, you will love it too.
To Patrick's point, though, and these are the stats that I got, this is why Patrick is saying they're going to regress, right? Because it really, all the numbers, analytics said that the Minnesota Vikings are definitely going to have a regression this season. They're going to take a step back.
Just record, at least.
Just based on the record, because they were 13-4 last year. But when you think about it, they were 8 of 11. All right, in basically 8 of their 11 one-score games that they had, 11 one-score wins, first of all. So 11 of their 13 wins were one-score wins, which was an NFL record. 8 of those 11 one-score wins required a fourth-quarter comeback. So that made Kirk Cousins like the clutch quarterback in the NFL. That also, by the way, was an NFL record. The 4 losses they had were by 17, 37, 24, and 11 points.
Yeah, they normally got beat.
And they're the first NFL team ever to win 13 games and have a negative point differential in the process.
-3.
So,
but they made a change. They went and got Brian Flores to come in and be their DC. And I like Brian Flores.
I like Brian Flores too, but
and they got talent on the defense.
I also like Detroit a lot.
Yeah, I'm down with Detroit. I'm down with Detroit.
So it's
they brought in Marcus Davenport. They made some changes. They got good defensive linemen. Jordan Hicks is still playing at a very high level. They have some experience on the back end with Harrison Smith. Look, I'm not making the case for them. I just don't think that they're like you said, they're going to fall off just by record for sure.
Yeah. And so if we say Detroit is 2 games better and we say Minnesota is 3 games worse.
Yeah, you go.
Then
that's
Detroit wins the division.
Flip. Yeah.
And that's all I think it is. And Jordan Love, I'm not giving him that credit yet. And Justin Fields, the team will be better, but they're not there yet.
I agree. So I agree. That's crazy. We're all picking Detroit. What the hell? That is
this
weird,
is Bizarro
man.
world.
It is Bizarro
I'm doing it
world.
for you, Rod.
Hey,
I'm doing it for
Because
Rod.
we're doing this early, we might be the first show that has ever had 3 people pick Detroit, and that includes Detroit radio.
That is definitely including Detroit radio. Nobody in Detroit's picking Detroit because they don't trust them. They're like us with the Longhorns. Like, nah, I don't know about that.
I
I'm
mean,
not
we
doing
too
it.
close to it. We
Not-
didn't seen it.
right?
We didn't seen it.
Okay, so NFC South, gentlemen, I'll take New Orleans. I think Atlanta's going to improve a lot, and I like that roster Atlanta's building. But New Orleans had a good defense, and now they got a quarterback in Derek Carr.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I'll
they're
take
just the most ready to do it. Again, this is a 9-win conference,
I totally agree with you.
9-win division.
Yeah.
And it's who can get to 9 wins. They can probably get to 9 wins. The only thing you worry about is if Kamara gets suspended.
Yep.
That is
would
a
be
worry.
concern. Yeah.
But say as of today, when he is not suspended, then they win the division. Now, if you go, he's out 8 games.
That could be a
Then
deal,
Atlanta
deal
starts to
breaker.
get a little bit more in there.
Yeah.
Then Carolina. Then it's maybe Bryce Young all of a sudden is a winner and can pull him out a few wins. But I would say it's you're requiring a lot of hope on any other team.
Yep.
Yeah, they need a lot of help to try
And
to win
man,
the
any
division.
video I've seen out of Tampa Bay does not give me a lot of hope.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Was it Baker Mayfield and
Kyle
Kyle
Trask.
Trask? Yeah.
Yep.
Your name is 1 letter away from trash.
Yeah.
Not a good start.
Yep.
Yeah, the fans will replace that really quick too if he can't play well. What you got, Harge, winning the NFC South?
Oh, I'm with you. I'm with New Orleans.
You got
I've been.
New Orleans?
I
Okay.
was on New Orleans as soon as they got Derek Carr.
Done deal. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're a big Derek Carr guy.
I am.
Last division here, NFC West. I mean, I'm taking San Fran, but I do think Seattle is going to be a good team and that's going to be a hard win for anybody. But San Fran is just freaking loaded, man. It doesn't matter. I don't care who the quarterback is. I'll tell you right now, it doesn't matter who the quarterback is. They're still going to win that division.
They are the team that I continue to look at, and I'm like, how? And it's because of that defense that it plays at a very high level, the scheme of Shanahan and what he's able to do and pull out of all these guys. But the other part of it is those wide receivers in that running game, they're getting better. Those players are getting better. Brandon Ayuk, a lot of people at the very beginning, you're like, I don't know about this guy. Then all of a sudden he just takes off. The talent was there, but was the mindset going to be there? Was he at that position where he felt like things were going to be all right? I still believe that Matthew Stafford has one more good little run with them. They got a good defense, but they are missing Jalen Ramsey on that outside. They're going to have to replace that.
Yeah.
Aaron Donald is a 99, but they need more than one Aaron Donald for the 99 for them to get back to that level. And is Sean McVay, is the luster falling off of him as this genius, or is he going to be able to pull it back together and make sure that people are like, okay, he just got to make sure he has his quarterback in the right spot and he's not playing with a guy that – not like Brock Purdy, though. Not like Brock Purdy. And then Arizona. And is Geno real? Or is Seattle real? Are they going to give him a fight?
Yeah, Seattle's
We
legit.
don't know.
Seattle's legit. They won't contend with San Fran, but Seattle's a good team.
Yeah, they'll be good. Yeah,
Yeah.
but again, the Rams will be better. It's San Fran, though.
Yeah, it's not even close.
Until somebody else comes up and takes it away, they just have way too many weapons on that team.
Way
And a
too
good
many
defense.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly. They really they're just loaded this season, and this is the year for Shano. This is a big year for Shano because he's been building for a while. What are you talking about? He's got 6 years there now, 1 Super Bowl appearance, 2 conference titles, and his blueprint that he's been building. Zigging when the rest of the NFL is zagging, using 21 personnel when the rest of the NFL is going to spread looks, using a fullback when the rest of the NFL is getting rid of fullbacks, investing in running back like Christian McCaffrey, and the rest of the NFL is divesting and divesting in the running back position, and positionless football, which the rest of the NFL is just starting to catch on to, but that has been kind of his major with positionless football. That has been his, philosophy, how he built the 49ers. So all of that now, I think, is coming to, it's materializing on the field, but I think now it's coming to fruition and he can see it. If he doesn't win this year, I will start to think that maybe it's going to take Shanahan, maybe he won't break through. Maybe he won't break
No,
through.
and I can tell you, I'm not his friend. I can assume that he would have he thought he had a shot to win a Super Bowl last year if he had a quarterback.
Yes, that was the assumption. That if Brock didn't get hurt, that they would have had a shot to win quick. But he still got to beat Kansas City.
No, I get that, but I'm saying
No, but he at least
But
got
I'm saying,
there.
hey man,
there.
give me a shot.
Yeah.
Give me a real
Yeah.
fighter's chance instead of sicking in a fifth string quarterback.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. Yeah, that's
A
just,
running back at one point. Don't forget, McCaffrey had to play quarterback.
yeah, they've had some of the worst luck in the NFL at quarterback. I will say that too. But they also have some of the best luck because they found Brock Purdy, Mr. Irrelevant. All right, we come back. We'll give you our playoff teams. We'll give you the conference championship matchups and our Super Bowl contenders, and we'll break down the Trevon Diggs, Saquon Barkley deals. All that and more right here on Ball Don't Lie. 104.9 Horn. All right, welcome back to Ball Don't Lie right here on 104.9 The Horn. I want to finish up our picks and get to our playoff picks. We did all of our divisional winners. I want to get to the playoff picks. Remember, you got 7 teams from the AFC, 7 teams from the NFC. In addition to my divisional winners, so I'll go with my NFC divisional winners first. I got the Cowboys winning division. I got the Detroit Lions. I know it sounds crazy to even say. Got the 49ers and got the Saints. So those 4 teams will be in. And I'll take Seattle. I'll take Philly and Minnesota as my wild cards. Seattle, Philly, and Minnesota. Along with, of course, New Orleans, San Fran, Dallas, and Detroit. Yeah. There you go. Harge. Well, I'll go AFC too, real quick. I'll go AFC. My AFC teams, of course, Kansas City's going to win that division, dominate the division. I will take Cincinnati, win the North. I took Miami to end up winning the AFC East, and I took the Jags to win the AFC South. And my wild card teams are the Ravens, the Bills, and the Jets. So, yes, I have 3 teams from the same division making the playoffs. Before you think that's crazy, since they have expanded the playoffs to 14 teams, you've had 3 teams from the same division make the playoffs every year. You had NFC East had 3 teams last year. The NFC West had 3 teams in 2021, and the AFC North had 3 in 2020. So,
okay, Patrick,
just going along with the trends.
Yeah, I'll say since we had the Philadelphia Eagles winning in the NFC East, I'll have Dallas in there as well.
I did not have Philadelphia, but thank you.
I know. I will say my wild card. I'll have Dallas making the wild card. I think Minnesota will make the wild card as well. They regress, but I think they'll still be a decent team. And I'll also say Seattle makes the wild card. That's a good team over in the West. Again, I'm taking 3 out of the AFC East. Again, Miami and the Jets both make it.
I agree, man.
Again, it's about seeing Tua healthy, but for every game he plays, you have to think that they're a front runner in most of these games, and then Baltimore as well.
You got the same ones, I think.
I know, and I like the Chargers. I like them as a team that could easily get in there, but it's Kellen Moore, so screw him.
Well, I just ran out of room.
I think we all have the same.
And I think that's the reality is the Chargers could basically statistically knock out one of those AFC East teams just by not playing the same teams.
Yep.
That could easily happen.
Yep.
But right now I'm going to take those.
I'm taking the Chargers to be that team to get into the playoffs, and I'm going to knock out
who you knocking out? That's
Miami
the question.
Or Buffalo?
Yeah, you're knocking out one of those Miami or Buffalo teams. Who you knocking out? Cincinnati.
I'm knocking out Buffalo.
Okay, I can see that.
Knocking out Buffalo.
I can see that.
So we were talking about the regressions of other teams.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking at them as being that we're still trying to figure out if Josh Allen's going to be that great quarterback who also threw a lot of interceptions, but everyone seems to forget that. But they just want to focus on Dak. But anyway.
And you got a young running back in James Cook, and then Naheem Hines just goes out for the season with the injury. So
you still don't know what you're going to do.
If he struggles.
You can't have Josh Allen be the focus of your running game, the main course of your running game again. That's ridiculous.
Before, and it's never going to end well. In the NFC, obviously, Cowboys are my team. They won a division. I'm going to put Philadelphia in there. They are still good. Detroit is that team that I put as the top, San Francisco, and the Saints. So when you start looking at all these other teams, I believe one of the teams that's going to make the playoffs is Seattle.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're going to be strong in there. And believe it or not, I think the Minnesota Vikings will definitely be in there.
So that's your 3?
That's my 3.
I think we all got the same 3 NFC wildcard teams and almost the same 3 AFC wildcard teams, except you decided you're booting out the Bills.
Get them out of there.
And you're going to, instead of Bills, you're putting
Bills Mafia.
So none of us
got
have
the Chargers.
We have Sean McVay all missing the playoffs. Everybody does.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. Because that's interesting because if he misses it this year and they stay healthy, that's a big fall.
That's what I've been saying.
It's
I'm like, what is he going to be able to do? Is that little shine that he had, is it starting to fade a little bit?
Stan Kroenke's just going to hang out with them Nuggets more.
Yeah. Well, he just won a Super Bowl a few years ago. I don't think it's worn off just yet, but it depends on what the record is for him. AFC and NFC title games. I'll go first. AFC title game, I'm going Kansas City and Cincinnati. NFC title games, I'm going San Fran and Dallas. I got Dallas making it past the divisional round.
Hey, woo!
There you
go. Yeah, buddy.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah, buddy.
They are not going to the Super Bowl though.
Oh,
San
my
Fran,
goodness, that
San
is so
Fran,
bad.
San Fran will beat them.
I don't have
get
San
the Super
Fran
Bowl.
playing in it.
Kansas City will beat Cincinnati, make it to the Super Bowl. You have a rematch of the Super Bowl from a few years ago, and then Kansas City becomes a dynasty because they beat the 49ers and they win it all again, fellas.
No,
Again,
there
another
it is.
one, another one.
It's funny
3 in 6 years.
because I got Dallas and Philadelphia playing each other.
Oh, in the
To go to
NFC
the-
title
to
game?
go to
That's
the-
sexy.
yeah,
I like that.
I don't know how it's gonna even out.
Who wins it then?
Who you think?
Who
you think?
So the Cowboys are going to the Super Bowl,
Yes,
Farge?
Cowboys. Hey, what I
Wow.
tell y'all, I was all in from the very beginning. I am drinking blue Kool-Aid. They call that Incredible Hulk in the streets. You know what I'm saying? I'm feeling real good
Wow.
about that. And obviously, I got my Cowboys going to the Super Bowl. I got Kansas City playing in the Super Bowl
Of course
as
you do.
well. I mean, until you beat the man to become the man,
Yeah.
he is still the man. And Andy Reid has continued to find ways. And if you go and watch quarterback, you'll understand why I believe in what's going on with Kansas City. But I believe Kansas City will end up playing in the championship game against Aaron Rodgers. The NFC,
Oh, and the Jets? Wow.
That's the team that they're going to play.
Okay.
They got enough talent to be there.
I like that. That's who I have as well.
And who wins the Super Bowl? Did you say?
Cowboys, man.
I'll give you a chance to back out of this.
No, I told you. I told you
gracefully.
until people can beat Patrick Mahomes and what Andy Reid does, it's still Kansas City. I still got Kansas City.
So you got Kansas City winning the Super Bowl?
Yeah, I do.
Okay,
I do.
thank. I was gonna say
Yeah.
you got to beat
Yeah.
Kansas City.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Okay,
Dan
gotcha.
Quinn's got to figure it out.
Yeah, he does.
He does actually.
Yeah.
Like
No,
that.
I have the Jets and
Wow.
Kansas City as
Ooh,
well playing in the
nice.
AFC. Kansas City wins. We're all on the same page. Until you beat Kansas City, it's just hard to believe, looking at it right now, that there's a team that's I mean, they did that without a wide receiver.
They did. Don't forget, Patrick Mahomes was limping around on one damn leg and on the okay trying
Yep.
to win. I mean, they are. Yeah, I agree with you on that.
And then San Francisco, I agree with as well. I have the Eagles playing for it. That team's just really good. Again, I think Jalen Hurts is going to take another step forward. And I just don't believe in Mike McCarthy. That's
Yeah,
really
that's
what it is.
what comes out for you.
When it comes down to, I think at the end of it, he tries to make adjustments that don't pan out, and Dan Quinn is your next coach of the Cowboys next season. But I will have San Francisco beating the Philadelphia Eagles, Kansas City, San Francisco, and Kansas City wins.
I like that. So we got the same Super Bowl then.
Mm-hmm.
Kansas City, San Fran. Yeah, I like that. All right, so we're on the record for all of our NFL predictions, even all the way up to our Super Bowl champions.
I'm on the record until I change my mind.
Yeah. Well, and that's the beauty of it. We do it now. We can change
Until
our mind
injuries
after
happen.
week one.
Yeah,
Hell,
yeah.
even into training camp, we're like, I don't like that preseason game. It looked weird. I'm changing my pick, which I'm sure will happen a lot. All right, we come back. We'll talk about those who are getting the straight cash, homie, getting paid. Saquon Barkley signing a new deal. Trevor Diggs signing a new deal. And have you heard the dollar figure that Mbappe has been?
Come on, man.
You heard
Yeah.
this?
Oh, yeah.
He's been
I think
offered
all
by
of
the
them are gonna-
Saudi team. Okay,
Yep.
we'll get into that too coming up a little bit later on. All that and more right here on Ball Don't Lie. Wonderful on the horn. Hey, what's up, folks? Lifetime Logo and Rod Babers here. Let's talk about my favorite beer, that is Bud Light. That's right. It is my go-to beer for my Longhorn tailgates on Saturdays. Also, my go-to beer for NFL Sundays. It's the perfect beer for any and every occasion. So remember, folks, it's always a good time to break out the Bud Light. And I've been drinking Bud Light for a long time. Since my days on the 40 acres, I was legal, of course, on the 40 acres, on my days on 6th Street. Also, my days in the NFL, I was always drinking Bud Light. And now, hey, just to decompress after a long, hard day, or to reward myself after a day of yard work, or just, hey, just to take the edge off. Always a great idea to break out the Bud Light. Perfect beer to beat the Texas heat as well. You want a nice ice-cold Bud Light to make sure you can cool off, whether you are living the lake life, chilling poolside, enjoying those backyard barbecues. That's all fun in the summer, but also the heat you got to deal with. So make sure that you get your nice ice-cold Bud Light to make sure that you can beat that Texas heat. And also to make sure you bring out the good times. That's what Bud Light's all about. It's the perfect beer for any occasion, but also the sure sign of a good time. Turns those good times into great times, and the rest of the times, they seem like the best of times. So remember, folks, Bud Light, brewed deep in the heart of Texas, by Texans, for Texans, and proud of it. Welcome back to Ball Don't Lie right here on 104.9 The Horn. It is a Top of the Charts Tuesday. That's when Patrick the ID never takes jams. I reached the top of the Billboard charts on this day in history. And, yeah, didn't expect to hear this one, but it fits. Also could have worked for Midweek Movie Music Edition.
Yep.
Yeah, probably could throw it in New Theme Thursday. Also could work for that, too. Little Survivor for you. Eye of the Tiger. Yeah.
Gotta love it.
I mean.
This is what Saquon's listening to right now.
How is it really?
Yeah, we're training, man.
I've decided that 1 year deal. Yeah, I'm sure he's gonna be hungry. It's a contract year for him. This is what you need to be jamming, like you working out, like Rocky was in those Rocky movies.
Is this Rocky 3?
Is it
I think
Rocky?
it's Rocky 1,
It's
right?
Yeah, this is like from the beginning.
This was the original Rocky.
Yeah. Tiger
they
was the
play
first
it
one?
in all the. It plays in a lot of the
plays in
Rocky.
all-
They play in
oh,
all of them,
yeah.
but I believe it's from the beginning.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think this was like the original. Like, oh man, this
Was
is.
it made for Rocky like back then? That they
I
make
don't
it,
know.
or was
I
it
don't know.
out before that? That's what I want to know.
don't
Was
know.
it made? Because back then they would make songs for the movie, and it sounds like it was made for the movie because Rocky is full of all the great kind of movie montage music, where you got a movie montage, somebody just working out, lifting weights.
Yeah.
No, I think the Frank Stallone was for just made for that though.
What?
Frank Stallone track that's on the Rocky soundtrack.
There's a Frank Stallone track.
There's
on
a
there?
Frank Stallone track on
like like related to Sly Stallone.
Yeah,
his
it's his brother.
Wow, I did not. I did not know.
You didn't know he had a brother that sings?
I did not know he had a song on the original soundtrack.
Yeah.
Wow, there you go.
See, I am right. It was Rocky 3.
I think it's in multiple though.
Yeah.
I think it is too. But like I said, maybe it is. I think it's it plays in a lot of the movies. But either way, there you go. Survivor, Eye of the Tiger. Shout out to my man Patrick, always keeping us on our toes on the musically themed days of the week. All right, so Trevon Diggs is he's happy because he just got paid $21.2 million signing bonus for his brand new 5-year, $97 million extension with the Dallas Cowboys. He is now one of the highest paid cornerbacks, not the highest paid cornerback though, so he did give the Cowboys a little bit of a discount. The incentives in the deal could make it worth upwards of $104 million, but Trevon Diggs gets his straight cash homie from the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah, I'm really excited about that and glad that he did. But as a defensive back, I'm trying to see, did he take less to make it for everybody else, or was it something that you got to sit there and look at and say, all right, is this going to be a different level of money for the next round of defensive backs that are going to be going for this money as well?
Yeah, but the NFL, you're right, because usually you'd want every brand new contract for a player like Trevon Diggs, who is a Pro Bowl, All-Pro player at 24 years old already. You'd want him to be pushing and resetting the market.
Right.
Pushing that, that cap as much as you can for that position. He's not doing that. I'm not saying he got a bad deal, but he's choosing not to break the bank with the Dallas Cowboys. It makes him a top 5 cornerback. What I love about Trevon Diggs, though, I do think he's the best ball hawk in the NFL. Nobody gets their hands on the football as much as Trevon Diggs. Yep. Nobody.
Yep.
And that's just because he's got great instincts, but also because he thinks he has a right to the football.
No risk it, no biscuit.
No, that's how he did. And he's gotten beat before a lot, actually. His first 2 years in the NFL. But I want to say last season, I thought he did a great job of lowering the risk in his game while keeping the reward in his game. So now he's a lower risk, high reward player. Yeah. As a result.
And over the last 3 or his first 3 seasons, he has the second most in Dallas history of interceptions with 17 behind Everson Walls, who had it from 81 to 83. He had 22 interceptions. He's also been one of the best in deflections, as you were talking about earlier. As you said, breaking it up. Diggs is one of 3 players to have 15-plus interceptions in 45-plus pass defense in his first 3 seasons, joining Marcus Peters with 19 and 55 and Richard Sherman with 20 and 57. Yeah. That's good company right there.
No, I mean, like I said, I don't think anybody has a knack for getting their hands on the football like Trevon Diggs. I mean, he's amazing. And I don't know what the incentives are, but if the incentives are based on interceptions, they better make them pretty lofty. Yeah. Because that dude will get them.
The best part about it is he got the deal included a $21.25 million signing bonus, and the deal is up to $104 million with the incentives.
Saquon Barkley also signed a deal, 1-year deal. Essentially, it almost works like a mercenary deal. He could earn $11 million total in the deal, so it makes it a little bit more value-wise than the franchise tag. He gets $2 million up front in signing bonus, and I believe his salary is going to be $8 million as a base salary. So it's kind of a renegotiated franchise tag, basically. Yeah, that's what it is. It's a renegotiated franchise tag. And we don't know if he has a basically a franchise tag clause that will disallow the Giants to franchise tag him again. Right. And if he doesn't have a non-franchise tag clause in this 1-year deal, they can franchise tag him again next season. It will cost more, but they can do it if he doesn't have that stipulation in it.
Yeah, remember the salary, as you said, the signing bonus, but then he has these. What do we call them?
Incentives.
Escalators.
Escalate, yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, and it's the $303,000 bonuses at each level.
Yeah.
So he has to have over 1,350 yards rushing, plus the Giants have to make the playoffs for him to get that. He has to have 65 receptions, plus they have to make the playoffs. And he has to have 11 total touchdowns, and of course, they have to make the playoffs.
And
This is an awful deal for him.
Did he reach those thresholds last year? I don't think he did. He didn't get to 11 touchdowns or 65 receptions.
That's where I'm sitting here looking at it and saying, did you have to go out there and sign that just yet? Don't forget, we just had a conference call, bro. We had this Zoom.
They did.
And we're sitting there, and maybe, like we talked about earlier, maybe the conversation was, hey, man, go ahead and get your money. But we have to figure something else out later on for some of these other guys. I want you to make sure you don't go without $10 million because we just talked about the running back position. You ain't getting it back.
Yeah, but he didn't sign the franchise tag, and I guess maybe it's a principle. They didn't want to sign a franchise tag, but the value of it is not that different from a franchise tag.
No.
And like you brought up the incentives, it's less than $1 million in incentives.
Exactly. It's like, what did you sign?
He signed the same.
And the biggest part about it is you have to make the playoffs.
You got for all those incentives
for all
to kick
of those to kick in, you have to make the playoffs.
Yeah. Well, at least he'll be available to the Giants, but I think the Giants won that negotiation. There's no doubt about it.
No doubt about it. That's why I'm worried about the other running backs. Because when they get ready to have this conversation and these negotiations, I really went home and I thought about what you said yesterday about the fact we need to start the conversation now. Isaiah Pacheco should have been the one to talk about it because he's a Super Bowl champion. He was a vital part of the success. He was a late-round draft pick. He needs to start those discussions ASAP.
I agree. Yeah.
So I'm hoping his agent is looking at it and saying we need to do this now.
The truth is, I know people don't want to hear this. It's probably too late for Saquon.
It is. It is.
Considering what we've
That's
watched,
why we got to do it for the future.
It's got to start much earlier in
Yep.
your rookie, right after your rookie campaign, first, second year. For Saquon, it might be a little too late for that. So Saquon signs his big deal. All right, we come back. We got some other big stories, some other top-notch sports stories of the day. I want to hit that Mbappe offer because that is cartoonish.
Yeah.
Crazy money that is being thrown out there. Also, we'll discuss Quinn Ewers and his projection to be a top passer in college football. Arch Manning signing his brand new first NIL deal.
Come on.
And also Jim Harbaugh facing a 4-game negotiated suspension with the NCAA. First time hearing that term. We'll talk about that and more right here on Ball Don't Lie, 104.9 Horn. Hey, what's up, folks? Lifetime Longhorn Rod Babers here. Let's talk about the beautiful city that we all call home, Austin, Texas. One of the things that attracts us and a lot of other people to Austin, Texas is the unique aesthetic appeal. And thanks in no small part to the skilled craftsmanship of Ironworkers Local 482, that unique aesthetic appeal of Austin continues to be one of the most appealing parts of this city. And our friends over at Ironworkers Local 482 have been helping shape Greater Austin for a long time, since 1935. That's a really long time. You see the labors of their love everywhere. You might be driving by it right now and not even know it, like DKR Stadium and the Pennybacker Bridge. And as the city continues to grow and thrive, so does Ironworkers Local Union 482. They don't go to the office, they build the office. So if you're looking for an exciting new career, you want something fresh, something new, something that will challenge you, and maybe you just want to feel valued. You want to feel like you're a valued member of something special, a prestigious organization. How about becoming a member of Ironworkers Local 482 and accepting the challenge of becoming the best version of yourself while helping shape our city's economic development? They're hiring 3,000 people right now for a huge project right here in Central Texas, and you can become a member of Ironworkers Local 482, and you'll take pride in the type of teamwork and craftsmanship that helps shape the future of our great city. So maximize your potential today and be your best self. Simply apply online at ironworkers482.org. That's ironworkers482.org. Welcome back to Ball Don't Lie right here on 104.9 The Horn. Top of the charts Tuesday. And it seems like Patrick's on a lot of soundtracks lately. Ended up with a little Eye of the Tiger with Survivor, and now got some Will Smith, Wild Wild West. Is it Will Smith and Cisco?
Yeah, I believe so.
Is it Cisco in there?
That is Cisco's
It is
voice.
Cisco in there. Yeah. Wow, there you go. Trying to throw us back. And I would say Will Smith is one of the few artists who, I don't know, is probably the more recent artist that would star in the movie and make a song for the movie soundtrack. He'd give you like a little added value there. All right, top of the charts Tuesday. That's when Patrick the Idillionaire plays jams that reached the top of the Billboard charts on this day in history. Yeah, Cisco's voice actually is pretty distinct. Just gotta remember that.
Also, Drew Hill and Kumo D.
Oh,
Yeah,
Kumo
part of-
D's in this too?
Oh, this is his original song.
I do remember the
Yeah.
Wild Wild, but it wasn't. It wasn't. It was, yes, it was named Wild West, but it was a totally different vibe and mood.
This is also-
in Kumo D's Wild Wild West. It was like kind of the Wild Wild West.
and it was a
Wild.
Weist. It was the West. He
Yes.
was riding. They were riding horses.
Yes, yeah. His Wild Wild West is all fun loving, good-hearted Wild Wild West.
This is also a sample from Stevie Wonder.
Yeah, original
Damn.
song.
It's I
original
Wish.
song.
Yeah, you're
the
right.
original's
Now
I
you
Wish,
can hear.
yeah.
I can hear it now. You
Yeah.
brought it up. It's a good point. All right, I didn't realize Kumo D was still in it. Damn, there
Come
you
on,
go.
man. Kumo D was in the band.
And Cisco with Drew Hill though, not individual.
Cisco solo.
Not Cisco solo.
Yeah.
Cisco, the thong song was him solo though, right?
Yeah, he got sued. I saw a little thing yesterday about it.
He got sued because of the thong
Because
song.
he put Ricky Martin's I Was Living La Vida Loca. Ricky Martin and
Oh,
his
a little
people.
sample of it?
Yeah.
Oh, you just got it. This means you got to pay him.
No,
Little
they
piece
got
of it.
broke.
They got to break him off.
They had to break him off.
Yeah. I love how that takes like that in court. That litigation takes forever.
Oh, yeah.
I wonder when it started because thong song's been around for what 2-3 decades now, or
Yeah,
something
they're
like
gonna
that.
go through it, bro.
And it took that long for them
They're gonna go through
to
it.
basically get the sample, to identify it, to isolate it, and then be able, I guess, to kind of break it down so that you can present it to a courtroom
Yep.
somehow in a civil case and say, no, they actually did steal this from us and they didn't give us credit or ask for permission from
And
it.
it's like, how did you get it?
It's
How did you come
fascinating.
up with that?
And some
Yeah.
artists are saying that basically it that in itself, like, because Marvin Gaye's, I think his estate
he
has
was-
gone after a couple of
Yep.
people that have sampled his stuff,
Yep.
and they're saying basically there's an argument to be made that if you just tweak a note here or there,
you can be good.
that you could be good, but
Yeah.
also that the people who are doing the suing, they're obviously the litigation and those who are actually filing these civil suits, that actually they are also kind of benefiting from all of this litigation too, because there's an argument to be made that anybody can be accused of copying someone's work just because I just changed a note just slightly.
Yeah, and
And-
everything's been done, so it's
Yeah,
it's
it's like,
harder.
did I actually change, or did I steal it from you, or did I just change a couple of notes and it is totally different? But now you're gonna say I sourced it from your creative material.
Mm-hmm.
It's just weird how
No,
that comes out.
look, everyone's favorite is the Vanilla Ice.
Yep.
Whereas theirs was do 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 do,
Yeah,
and mine
yeah,
was
yeah.
do 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 do. different.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, well, yeah. So I know that's obviously a tricky road to go down. Okay, let's talk about the NFL. We're gonna call an audible here. We'll get to some Texas football discussion. We'll get to college football discussion. But there's been some NFL. This NBA news too. We got to get to as well that we didn't get to. Speaking of people signing contracts for a lot of straight cash, homie Jalen Brown is celebrating, but also celebrations and congratulations are in order for one Justin Herbert, who just signed a huge deal with the Chargers, a 5-year, $262.5 million deal would slightly puts him just ever so slightly above Lamar Jackson's April extension. And so now, based on average annual value of the contract, right now Justin Herbert, he's in the driver's seat, man. He's making a lot of straight cash, homie. In this brand new deal. And it also says here that Justin Herbert, who is basically 20, the Chargers are 25 to 24 with Herbert starting, but also points out that he's 25 years old. And as you pointed out, Harge, he had 2 years remaining on his rookie contract. They decided to get this done early, which is a smart move by the Chargers. You know he's your franchise quarterback. Why are you going to wait on some other quarterback to reset the market, make the quarterback position even more expensive to invest in, and also increase the overall value of those deals? So if you're, Joe Burrow right now, you got to be sitting somewhere in the room celebrating, giving that that excellent, Mr. Burns excellent.
Yeah, that Cincinnati.
He's loving this.
Yeah, the Cincinnati Bengals owner Mike Brown is sitting there shaking his head like, why? Why did y'all do that now? I'm broke. You know I'm not going to do that. But here's the deal. Why are y'all paying him this much money? He hadn't won anything. I just can't believe that people are willing to go out there and throw this guy this money because he's done nothing. Look at his record. The Chargers are 25-24 with Herbert as a starting quarterback. It is utterly ridiculous that you would think that this guy would be your franchise quarterback because he has done nothing. Thank you.
I feel
this is sarcasm?
Very much so.
Kellen Moore gets his worthless quarterbacks plenty of money, right?
Oh, my goodness. I mean, this is just ridiculous. The guy's done nothing. His teams are terrible. Rod, you were talking about plus minuses. This is ridiculous. I can't believe it. You know why? Because the market is dictating that the dude deserves the money. He's a starting quarterback in the NFL. People always have their moments. And I know I'm going off on a little bit of a rant because people are always trying to watch what other people are getting and trying to say that people aren't worth it and all this other stuff. If the market is dictating, kind of like the running back position, a lot like the running back position, the market is saying don't pay the running back. But you know who they are talking about paying? The quarterback, because you know what you need more than anything is a quarterback.
Damn right.
So the market is telling you this is what to do. This is the time to do it. So don't look at the quarterback's record because that's just so easy to do. Look at what you're trying to do to build your organization, and you have to have a quarterback in place. So you got to spend that money.
Yeah.
So I'm being sarcastic because so many people are always talking about that fact.
With Dak,
yeah,
that's the argument against Dak a lot. It's like he didn't win anything. It's like, well, he's won
quite a bit of games.
Yeah,
and the same thing again. The Kirk Cousins situation. Kirk Cousins is a tough dude who plays in a system. Last year they won 12, 13 games. And you can't tell me
he actually led
win.
the NFL in fourth quarter comebacks too.
Exactly.
And nobody wanted to give him props.
Nobody want to give him props.
Yeah, it's like the value of a franchise quarterback is this. If you want to classify a quarterback as your franchise quarterback, you want to pay them accordingly, which is why everybody was upset when Daniel Jones got, was it $40 million? That's cheap. Daniel Jones is like the 10th highest paid quarterback in the league now.
And I'm the one who's telling you that, hey, he needs a Saquon Barkley to even be able to get that type of money. But they're going to give it to him before they're going to give it to Saquon.
So now Lamar Jackson's $52 million a year makes him the second highest paid quarterback, and I believe Justin Herbert's number is going to be 52.5. So it's not that much more, but he's the highest paid quarterback in the league.
Yeah,
they just raised the rate for Joe Burrow.
Man, they are breaking the bank on Joe Burrow.
If you're Patrick Mahomes, and you have now been bumped down to the 8th highest paid quarterback in the league.
Mm-hmm. Yep. It's time to renegotiate.
Hey, you guys. And what did he say earlier? He said, we're always in a state of conversation. Like,
he did say that.
He said, we're always talking. He's like, I bet that phone call rang just a few minutes ago.
Yeah. If Brett Veach is smart, he would call Patrick and say, hey, just so you know, heads up, I'm already working on a deal for you, brother. And, I think the Patrick Mahomes deal, what was it, a 10-year deal, a 10-year deal at the time or something like that, an extension. So there's plenty of room to rework that deal and restructure it. But Patrick Mahomes may get some stuff that we've never seen in the NFL. I mean, he may get a deal that's unprecedented. I'm talking about like Lionel Messi.
Yeah.
So I was like, yeah, he's going to
give you some
he's going to get some revenue share and stuff like that because you just want to keep Patrick Mahomes happy at this point.
Yep.
So whatever that takes, and I can't imagine what the number's going to be for Joe Burrow because it's got to exceed 52.5. So we're talking $55 million, guys.
Yeah.
And I think Dak Prescott's going to get restructured here pretty soon too.
Yep.
Right? It's a lot of talk about it. We got to get Dak restructured. So Dak will probably end up in the 55, range, somewhere around there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and I can't.
Because they're just going to keep flipping them like this. They're just going to keep stacking them. So
no doubt.
this the guy goes and gets his money. Okay, next guy gets his. And it just cycles. It just keeps cycling. So, yeah.
Yeah, don't want your kids to play running back, but if they can throw a football, you want to encourage them to play quarterback. Good Lord. Even the bad ones are getting paid good money.
And let's not forget, the only person that's got $230 million in guaranteed money is Deshaun Watson.
David Mulligetta.
There you go.
Johnny Cochran of NFL Agents. The man is a magician when it comes to getting his guys paid straight cash, homie. You're right. Deshaun Watson. Basically, remember, Deshaun Watson's deal did not happen.
Oh, that's right. I forgot.
Yes.
Men in Black.
Men
That's
in
right.
Black. They flashed y'all. It did not happen.
Dang it.
At Kyler Murray, remember, he got his deal right after that. Now Lamar Jackson got his deal right after that. Jalen Hurts got their deal. Now it is properly buried.
Mm-hmm.
It's buried beneath like 4 or 5 deals now. You can't even see that damn Deshaun Watson deal. You've had like 4 quarterbacks now all get paid. None of them can reference the Deshaun Watson deal because it did not happen. It does not exist.
Remember when people were losing their mind when Dak got his money, and then all of a sudden he became the 10th, 12th highest paid quarterback, and everybody's like, he doesn't deserve $45 million. He's the 12th highest paid quarterback. Yeah. That's what the market is telling you.
Yeah, he's down there now.
Yeah, he's way down there. It's like that didn't happen.
Yeah.
Which is why it's about to come back up.
Yeah, Patrick Mahomes, they need to rectify this. And they need to rectify it so we all who are fans of other teams other than the Kansas City Chiefs, so we will have a more equitable right chance and a fair chance to kind of win and beat the Kansas City Chiefs, because part of the reason that they are as dominant as they are is because they're getting a bit of a discount with Patrick Mahomes. Just a bit.
Yep.
They need to be spending top dollar for the best quarterback in all of football. And I think if they did, it would hamstring them just a little bit in terms of building that roster. All right, the other deals that were signed today, we talked about Saquon Barkley signing his 1-year deal, $2 million signing bonus in that 1-year deal, $8 million base salary. He can make upwards of $11 million in incentives, but it's only like $1 million in incentives based on the yardage he gains, rushing, receptions, and total touchdowns. So it's basically a renegotiated franchise tag for him. And we don't know if they'll be able to franchise tag him again, because this is not the franchise tag. They negotiated a 1-year short-term deal basically instead of the franchise tag. So unless he has a non-franchise tag clause within this new 1-year deal, they may still have the ability to franchise tag him next season.
Which is still crazy to me.
Hey, man. Go argue with the NFL owners, the billionaires, and the Players Association, because they're the ones who put it in there. And, of course, Trevon Diggs signs a new deal with the Dallas Cowboys. It is makes him a top 5 paid corner in the NFL. He is not the highest paid corner in the NFL. He actually, I don't know if he gave him a discount or what, but he did not break the bank. He was not trying. He did not go in there and demand to be the highest paid corner, because he ends up being top 5. But a $21.2 million signing bonus. He can make upwards of $104 million total with incentives, but it is basically a 5-year, $97 million contract extension for Trevon Diggs. So he does get his money.
Got my cornerback.
Yeah, you got your
cornerback.
And that's like $19 million per year, so it's 5th highest paid corner in the league. And not only do you got your cornerback, but since you got a little bit of a discount with him, like I said, top 5 highest paid corner, not the highest paid corner, it gives you a lot to work with, a lot more to work with, I should say, when you signing Micah Parsons, which you got to.
You got to.
Zach Martin hasn't
that's
shown
gonna
up.
Break the bank.
Yeah, he's a Hall of Fame guard, hadn't shown up because he's the 8th highest paid guard in the league now, and he wants to be paid what he believes his value is, and he's the best guard in the league. And we know that at one point CeeDee Lamb is going to come knocking that, hey, it's time for me to get wide receiver 1 money. I need that wide receiver 1 money. That's why this year is big, because once you pay all those guys, Cowboys, it's going to be tough to build that roster with as much talent as you have now. This is a big year to cash in. Then you pay it. Once you win big, that's why everybody gets paid anyway. But this is a big year, because I don't know if can you bring Brandon Cooks back and Stephon Gilmore next season, whether they want to get paid or not, that kind of thing. Like all that, I think, is going to be determined by how well they do this season.
Yeah, you're absolutely right on that, and that is why the Cowboys, even though the salary cap is going to continue to rise, There may be some ways that you can manipulate it, and maybe that's some of the conversations, too, that Veach is having, saying, hey, Pat Mahomes, let me talk to you real quick.
Hey, Pat.
We're going to take care of you. Your mama call you Patrick, I got to call you Patrick. So when the salary increases, we'll be able to renegotiate your contract. Maybe those are some of the conversations that are being had behind closed doors as well.
Yeah. ATX Jags fan said, I don't know that Diggs is a top 5 corner in the NFL. He shouldn't be paid like one. It depends on what you value at corner. I think he's the best ball hawk in the NFL. I mean, he's made 17 interceptions in his 3 seasons in Dallas. One of those was 11 interception year. He's had 3 each of the other years, 49 passes defended. He's got the highest ball hawk rate in the NFL. That's basically getting your hands on any football, whether it be interceptions or PBUs in the NFL since 2021. I value DBs who make plays on the ball because every DB gets beat. I watched Jalen Ramsey get toasted in the Super Bowl right against Cincinnati. Get toasted. And he's considered the best corner in the league.
Thank you.
Every corner gonna get beat. They all get beat.
And if you're someone that's saying he's getting beat all the time, you didn't watch him last year because he didn't get beat a ton his rookie season, but he got beat more. He did not get beat a ton last season.
That was 2021 when he was a high risk, high reward player. He's getting better as a player.
I'll tell you this. This is a real simple fact. Cool. If you don't want to pay him like a top 5, there's about 15 teams in the league who will gladly pay him top 5 money.
That's my point.
He's gone.
That's my point.
Then you don't have a cornerback anymore. Gilmore's older. You're not going to pay him either because he's not a top 5 cornerback. You don't have any cornerbacks. Your defense starts to fail. Dan Quinn's gone. Mike McCarthy's your coach. He's no good. He's fired. You can't keep saying, well, we don't have the best guy, so I don't want to pay him.
Well, and
that's not a way to build a team.
And the Cowboys do pay their guys they draft. I will say that. The Cowboys notoriously,
100%.
when their guys achieve as draft picks, they pay them because they're proud of them. They're like, no, these are our guys. We're homegrown. The Cowboys want to be a homegrown product for the part. But I love the additions they made.
And the bottom line is, it don't matter if you think he is or isn't. The Dallas Cowboys thought he is, and he's getting paid like that.
And the market.
And the market is telling. I mean, everything is out there. Even right now, you can't go buy beef the way you wanted to buy beef back in the day because the market is telling you they're charging you a lot for them pounds of that beef. Things have changed. It's not like it used to be. If there's money out there, what are we always screaming? Free market, free market. The free market is telling you this is the worth. This is the net worth. Go get your money.
No, man. Yesterday's price is not today's price.
Exactly.
But like I said, he's a ball hawk, and I think they want a ball. Listen, there's a reason that Dan Quinn's defense has led the NFL in takeaways the last 2 years, back-to-back years. First defense since the Steel Curtain did it in 3 straight years in the 70s for an NFL team to lead the NFL in takeaways in back-to-back years. This may be the biggest part of that. This might be the biggest piece of that. So when I say he's a best ball hawk in the league, that means a lot. He's a guy that makes plays on the football, and for a defense that is opportunistic, that is built around defense making splash plays, he's a splash player.
Agreed.
So that's why you're paying him. And like I said, he was high risk, high reward. Now he's a lower risk, still a higher risk, but still lower risk, and a high reward is still really, really high. As a matter of fact, now I would even argue that with him as a player, his trajectory is still immense. Like his upside is immense just because he's only been playing cornerback for 6 years, full time. Remember when he got to Bama, he wasn't playing cornerback for, he's playing safety and wide receiver, and they were playing him on kick return and all this stuff. And then his first year playing cornerback full time was his sophomore year. He got benched because he was violating the rules of coverage. He was taking chances he shouldn't have been taking, eyes in the backfield, jumping routes. And Nick Saban was like, dude, in my defense, if you don't make that damn play, then you better not be jumping that route. If you jump that route, you better make sure you make that play. Otherwise, you're going to be on the bench, period. And he put him on the bench. And then he started. And by the way, this is how you know Nick Saban loved him. He started him again the next year. After he lost his job, he started him again the next year. And then he got hurt. And then his senior year was the first year he started every game playing cornerback full time. And ever since then, his trajectory has been like a rocket. I mean, it has been an upward ascent for him as one of the best cornerbacks in the league. Truth is, guys, he's still learning the position. That's the scary thing. He's just learning how to play it at a high level.
Yep.
So that would be my thing. I'm more of a Diggs fan than most people, but I get the complaints against him. But that is more from the 1 year where he got 11 interceptions. And by the way, talk about some spoiled fans complaining over a cornerback who got 11 interceptions that he gets beat too much. It's like,
oh yeah, trust me.
he makes.
I'm
more
a Cowboy fan.
He's like, he makes way more plays than he does get beat. But he
Yes.
does, that's why Pro Football Focus grade is low. He does get beat because he takes a lot of chances, and that's why they run a lot of double moves on him, hitch and go, slant and go, that kind of thing. He also will violate rules of coverage, literally leave his zone area of coverage, whether it be a deep third or a deep half or a quarter, because he sees the route combination and believes that he can jump the route and make the play. So at times he will do that, but he'll make the play.
Yes, he
He'll
will.
actually get the interception. And the reason the quarterbacks are surprised by it is because the quarterbacks know coverage really well. They have what they call cover 1 beaters, cover 2 beaters, cover 3 beaters, cover 4 beaters. They have route combinations designed to beat certain coverages, and DBs aren't supposed to be in certain areas of the field when they're playing a certain
certain times,
coverage.
yep.
And when that quarterback lets the ball go for that 6 route that he's throwing against that, that cover 3, and then Trevor Diggs end up jumping that route when he wasn't supposed to, the quarterback is discombobulated and confused. He's like, well, he's not supposed to be there. Why is he there? Because that guy plays on instincts a lot of the time. And you can't totally dull or mute the instincts because that's what makes him special.
Right.
Right? So I think for Dan Quinn right now is walking that line like, I want you to be instinctual and play instinctively, but we got to play with a little bit more discipline. Just a little more discipline so we're not giving up too many big plays, but we want to keep making them splash plays. Okay. And I think Dan Quinn's the perfect guy to help him with that, honestly.
And he has been. And that's why we saw the improvement from last year. He didn't have that many things happen to him last year.
Exactly.
So I'm with you on that.
Okay, we got a lot of other things we got to get into here before we get out. We'll get to the Dylan Campbell news that's out there. Also, Jaylen Brown, NBA news. He sounds a big deal. Everybody's getting paid today. Your palms itchy? Because I ain't getting paid. I ain't getting no money.
Trust me.
A
I'm
lot of folks
trying
out
to
getting
get paid, dog.
So we'll talk about that when we come back on the other side as well. Arch Manning signed a new NIL deal. Tons of stories to get to. All of that and more right here on Ball Don't Lie. 104.9 Horn. Hey, what's up, folks? Lifetime Longhorn, Rod Babers here. Let's talk about our friends over at Apple Leasing, because Apple Leasing, they've been doing business here in Austin for almost 40 years. And you wonder why? Well, because they do it the right way. They take care of their customers, and they make sure that you get the best bang for your buck, and you get the payment you want, the price you want on the car that you want. It's a pretty simple business model, and they do it better than anybody. So if you're stressed out about trying to go find the car that's perfect for you and compatible with you and your family's lifestyle, going to different lots, going to different dealerships, doing the price shopping yourself, comparing all the different prices, and then trying to make sure that you got the right lease agreement, getting out of a bad lease and getting into a simple interest, easy lease from Apple Leasing. All that can be really, really tough. And what Apple Leasing wants you to do is just reach out to them, all right? Give them all the information, let them know exactly what you want, and then let them take care of the headaches. Let them take care of all the legwork. Let them deal with all the stress, and then all you have to worry about is enjoying that brand new car smell. The number, 512-346-9977. That's 512-346-9977. Reach out to Apple Leasing today and let them take all that stress off your plate, and all you enjoy is that new car smell. Somebody who does this all the time, actually, and has done it multiple times, my man Mike Harch.
That's right. That's why I know so much about the great folks over there at Apple Leasing. They're always looking out for you. They want to do everything they can to make sure that you're riding around in a car that you really want to enjoy. Every time you're getting in your car, you're always thinking about this, thinking about that. And if you've ever done leasing, and a lot of times I didn't do it before, but now that's all I want to do. I'm a guy that's in my car all the time, driving around town, going to meet different people, and I've always wanted to make sure that I'm comfortable. That's what Apple Leasing does. Any make, any model, you can get the car of your dreams. And everybody always wants to know, what if I wanted to get out of my lease? Is that going to be a problem? No, they work with you anytime you need that to happen. Go to appleleasing.com or give them a call, 512-346-9977, and tell them what you want. Tell them the make, tell them the model, tell them the year of the vehicle that you want, and tell them the price range in which you want to be in. They will work it all out for you. A lot of times you don't even make a down payment or have 0 payments for 90 days. Think about that. That way you can get everything lined up the way that you want it to be lined up. If I'm you and you want to try to get a new car and you've never done leasing, give them an opportunity to help you out. appleleasing.com or give them a call, 512-346-9977, and make sure that they take care of you. Our man Scott Crossett always talks about, I'm leasing cars and making friends. Well, guess what? I've leased my cars, and now we're friends. Go to appleleasing.com.
All right, welcome back to Ball Don't Lie right here on 104.9 The Horn. It is a Top of the Charts Tuesday. That's when my man Patrick takes jams that reach the top of the Billboard charts on this day in history. And that is the focus of a Top of the Charts Tuesday. All right, it's been a wild day in sports. It's been a lot going on, a lot of headlines. One of the headlines that dropped earlier today, gentlemen, was about Kylian Mbappe. And apparently he's been offered a 1-year deal with the Saudi Arabian club Al Hilal. The 1-year deal is supposed to pay him $776 million for 1 year. It would be, if he accepts the deal, him alone, he would make more than the NBA's 17 highest paid players next season combined.
Yeah. Yeah.
That is crazy. That is freaky, man.
But you know what? He hadn't signed it.
He hadn't signed it.
He didn't take it.
It's just an offer. Remember, Lionel Messi turned down a reportedly $1.3 billion offer from a Saudi Arabian club as well, signed with Inter MLS, but he had a revenue sharing deal. He had a lot of stuff. This could just be for Mbappe a way to upgrade, a way for you to renegotiate with a lot of leverage.
Yeah.
And say, listen, man, I believe the total payment to get Mbappe to Al Hilal would be $1 billion because it's like 300-something million in different like transfer fees and stuff like that.
Yeah, there's a lot of taxes that'll go into it. So it's like $776 million for one season. That is $64.6 million a month. That is $14.7 million a week. That is $2.1 million per day. That's $88,500 an hour and $24 a second. That's what that breaks down to.
Yeah, the transfer fee would be $332 million.
Yeah,
and they'd pay him $776 million. That's crazy, stupid money. I don't know. Yeah, how do you turn that down? I guess he could turn it down, but oh man,
as we like to say around the crib, I'm on the way.
Even LeBron James and Giannis were joking.
Giannis said, "I look like him."
Yeah. Hey, I look like y'all looking for somebody who just look like him. I look like him. Yeah. LeBron James posted a GIF of the Forrest Gump running to talk about how quickly that he would jump on that kind of deal. Maybe they're joking, maybe they're not. But trust me, the Saudis, they might be coming. They might be coming to make you an offer that you cannot refuse.
Mm-hmm.
But there you go. Mbappe apparently offered a ton of money. We have yet to hear his response and whether he's going to take that money.
Yeah, because he's having a tough enough time over with his other team. That's why this whole conversation, because he said he's not going to play for PSG.
Paris Saint-Germain?
Yeah, he's not playing for PSG.
Is that just a contractual issue or something going on with them? Okay, so that's why this offer is even more relevant.
Very much so.
Okay. All right, so throwing it out there. That's a crazy amount of money. Also, something, speaking of crazy amounts of money, Dylan Campbell. It's not $1 billion, it's $776 million. But he did sign a new deal.
It might feel like that.
I was about to say, baby.
It might feel
he
like that.
He better feel like that because he deserves it. He did sign his deal with the Dodgers.
Yep.
Lifetime Longhorn Dylan Campbell is starting looks like he's going to start his major league career officially.
Yeah, he signed the deal for $500,000. He will be able to get a lot, as my boy Sean Adams used to say, you can get a lot of cheese on your Whopper if you want that.
Man,
so he's going to have plenty of opportunity. Great family, great kid, worked hard, as we talked about before. When he got to the University of Texas, people were on him. They weren't sure if he was going to be a good part of the team. And all you get to see is a kid go to work. He didn't complain. You and I talked about some situations where I saw him try to make some adjustments. He didn't make the adjustments, and then he did, and life started getting better for him. People were upset with him even this year. Remember, at the beginning of the year, he started off slow, and everybody was on him, and they were like, oh, man, what is Dylan doing? He had 189 as a freshman. Shout out to Horn Sports for posting that, and went to work, did his thing. So congratulations to him. Congratulations to his family. They've been supportive. They're at every game. They're a major part of his success. And this is a guy that was a former running back in high school. He was also a running back, too.
He's got a running back body.
Yeah,
Actually,
he
now you
does.
say that.
And he's got a cannon in right field. So don't know if he's going to be an outfielder. I mean, a lot of teams were talking about possibly moving him to the infield. But
The Dodgers are loaded in the outfield, aren't they? Yeah.
Dodgers are loaded in the outfield, but not only that, most of the outfielders are bigger guys, too. A lot of big power guys. So he hits a lot of line drives, Big 12 record, 38-game hitting streak. So shout out to him, and kudos to the Texas baseball team. They're getting guys drafted and they're getting them signed.
Oh, yeah, that's big, man. That's a big
Yep.
talking point on the recruiting trail these days.
No
like, hey,
doubt.
can you develop the talent? Can you get them in the league?
Yep.
And Texas definitely showing they can do that. Speaking of hitting the league, everybody hopes that Arch Manning will hit the league after he's done here on the 40 acres, but he's got a long time, just a freshman. He did sign his first NIL deal at the University of Texas as a student athlete.
Yep.
He signed with Panini America. So they are a licensed collectibles and like trading card memorabilia company, and he did sign a deal with them. All proceeds, but basically they're going to produce, or they say we already have produced, a throwback Prism 1-of-1 trading card for Arch Manning. First trading card, I'm assuming, that's been produced for Arch Manning of any kind, and all the proceeds from this project will benefit a nonprofit through St. David's Healthcare and St. David's Foundation. So that's really, really cool. And right now, the bidding for the 1-of-1 throwback Prism black autographed, it's autographed too, trading card, first of its kind and 1-of-1 of its kind for Arch Manning is up to $60,150. It's still got 4 days left on the bidding, so you can go check that out. I believe it's on his at Arch Manning on his Twitter account, all of his social media accounts. He's posted it. So the man's getting some. He's getting some cash.
What do you say? Straight cash, homie.
Yeah, I know that Sark said he wouldn't sign an NIL deal until he was a starter or something like that. But and I believe that came from
The fam.
Arch, like his grandfather. But circumstances change.
A lot of things change.
And it's going to a great cause in St. David's Healthcare as well.
And he's a grown man now.
Yeah, that's a great.
I
you know what?
want to make some decisions.
That's
here.
an even better point than any other. I'm a grown man. I can do what the hell I want to do, man.
Yeah.
Pop said something and Sark said something, but this is coming out of my mouth and in my pocket.
This
so
is for me.
deal with that. Real quick, throw it out there. Since we're not talking a ton of Quinn Ewers, we don't have a lot of time. I did look at BetMGM, and I was looking at their Heisman odds. They do have Quinn Ewers with the third best Heisman odds still, which is really good. But in addition to him being, right now third best Heisman odds behind Caleb Williams and Jaden Daniels, the quarterback from LSU. How about this? BetMGM claims that the highest handle percentage, which is amount of money wagered on a particular bet, Quinn Ewers, highest handle percentage in the country among all their Heisman favorites. 10.3% of all the handle coming in, betting on the Heisman, are coming in betting on Quinn Ewers to win it. Mm-hmm. That is the highest handle percentage in the country. So Longhorn fan, maybe that's all Longhorn fans, but it can't be all Longhorn fans. It's got to be some other fans who also are looking for Quinn Ewers to have a big year. Right now, third best Heisman odds behind Caleb Williams and Jaden Daniels.
Yep.
Okay, we come back. We'll wrap it up, put it in Evan, let you know what's on tap right here on Ball Don't Lie on 104.9 The Horn. Welcome back to Ball Don't Lie right here on 104.9 The Horn. Getting ready to wrap it up and put it in the oven. We'll let you know what's on tap before we get out of here. If you missed any part of any of the shows, please go to hornfm.com. You can catch up with them on the podcast page. Lots of news out there today. What we didn't cover today, trust me, we'll hit it again tomorrow. All right, Harge, what's on tap for you tonight?
I'm going to watch the Rangers and the Astros and Rangers, however you want to say it. I'm all up in it.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to be checking out the Astros and the Rangers. Go Astros! Hopefully that the Astros can make it 2-0 in this series. What you doing tonight, Patrick, other than Astros Rangers, of course?
You know I'm going to watch Astros Rangers. I may step out and see a band tonight. I don't know.
No.
I may met up with somebody. Who knows?
Tuesday.
That's
It's a Tuesday.
It's going up.
Look, no, the deal is,
Tuesday.
you remember Tuesdays means it's professionals out.
Yep.
The amateur hour is
Yep.
not as much on a Tuesday night. So I can go out on a Tuesday and you don't necessarily get run into.
Yeah,
You
I
can
like
go
that.
out and see
Yep.
some people and have a good time, and you're not necessarily dealing with amateur hour.
It's
You'll
like
come-
industry night.
Yeah.
Industry night. Yeah, Patrick does have a lot of friends in the industry. He himself used to be in the industry, too.
You know?
All
I've been
right.
in every industry, Rod.
You've been in a lot of industries, man. You've been a mailman before.
Yeah.
Did you say you was a bouncer one time?
Yeah.
Too? You was a bouncer before?
Yeah.
Just a lot of damn jobs, man. But you get a lot of knowledge when you have a lot of jobs. That's the beauty of
That's
having a
what
lot of
happens.
jobs, man.
That's right.
And my man is a hustle man. That's for sure.
What about you?
I'm gonna watch the game tonight. I'll probably also try to. Cause I still haven't watched the quarterback thing on Netflix. I haven't watched it. I ain't gonna lie to you. I haven't watched it. I need to.
And just want to give y'all a spoiler alert. I know some of you may be recording this, but go ahead and turn your radio. 5,
Spoiler alert! Spoiler
4,
alert!
3, 2, 1.
Count them down.
8 minutes into the game, Messi already scored a goal.
Wow! Get your money's worth early.
You gonna get it. You gonna get it.
Damn, he's already got 2 goals in 2 games.
Yeah.
And what's he got, like 25 minutes of play?
Yeah, if that.
Yeah, they
If
played him
that.
at the end of the first
Yeah,
one,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
And they
he
probably
started
won't,
today.
They definitely won't play him all of this game.
And he's
Come on.
captain.
This match.
Yeah, and he's captain.
Word El Capitan.
El Capitan.
Yeah, he said he was out house hunting today. He had pictures of him out hunting for a
Yeah.
house in Miami.
Oh, yeah. No, he's not stretching, get ready for the game.
He
Yeah.
wasn't really. He was out with his family looking for a crib. He's like, I'll play like 15 minutes.
Yeah.
I'll probably score a goal. Who knows?
Yeah,
Man,
and
Messi.
that's exactly what he did.
That's what legends do.
Yeah.
He's a GOAT. That's
And
what
people
GOATs do, man.
And the people that got scored on are mad. As you should be.
Well, they're probably going to be bragging about that later on in their life. Be like, I got scored on by Messi, right? You know Messi scored on me, right?
All right.
All right, we'll come back tomorrow, same time, same channel. Remember, the revolution will not be televised. We're talking about it right here on Ball Don't Lie. We love you guys. We mean that. We take care of yourselves, but more importantly, take care of each other. Peace.